Every child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear. It would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to week 2 of CCS Apollo. I'm Ryan, joined by Elsa the Queen, and we got a great matchup for you guys today as Theory of Everything takes on Khan. Elsa, how you feeling about today?
Feeling pumped up here for week 2, ready to go. Ready for this draft to get underway here. Both of these teams still early in the season, so hopes are probably both high for both sides. I know you had mentioned Rye Chains coming into this. Khan with the 2-0 victory in week 1, Theory of Everything, mirroring them losing 2-0. So kind of trying to get back on the right track. And they're on the blue side, so they'll get to start us off in this draft here today. Excited to see what these teams have to offer.
Yep, and the draft coming through here. Akali going to be that first ban away, targeting the solo laners of Khan here. And Elsa, I know you were mentioning, before the cast started that these junglers got some interesting picks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on the one side, you see Caxi, lots of Malphite picks in the jungle, even a Kaisa jungle in there, Fizz jungle. So definitely playing all sorts of things, at least on the solo queue side. You never know how much that will translate to competitive. But even on the outside, too, Pride GS playing a lot of Shyvana jungle, which is obviously kind of a newer thing since that rework. So excited to see, what jungle champions come first, if that's something that they might save for counter pick. In the series that we had on this stream last week, we saw lots of first pick junglers, but that was stuff like, the Jarvan, stuff like the Xin Zhao, kind of that top tier of junglers. So we'll see, if they decide to touch those here. Nocturne banned out in the jungle, but other than that, it's pretty wide open so far.
Yep, Khan opting to take away the Vigar and the Yunara. And as you mentioned, Theory of Everything following it up with that Nocturne ban, limiting that jungle pool as well. Braum is the hover here for the time being, but I don't know if you've noticed much, but at least in my games, the Deathfire touch has been running rampant, especially in the bottom lane. Smolder, Senna, two champions who can use that really well. So I'm interested to see if we'll get any of that today. Neither of those champions have been taken off the board. So I guess, hey, there we go. Look at that. Smolder hover here.
It does
they might be
like
listening.
Smolder has been in like every single game, so definitely, not too sad to see that one taken away. But with the bans finished up here, we'll see what they decide to prioritize as the first pick. Both of these top laners as well seem to have some pretty heavy pools of tanks, I was going to say. So those are some of the things that sometimes can be a little safer to pick right away, and we will see that from GPDA Boss picking up the Scion right away, and Khan already firing off the Ashe here in return.
Yeah, an interesting Scion first pick. Usually you don't see at least top laners first pick that much, especially if you're going to pick a tank. But Khan opting to pick that strong bottom lane with the Ashe and the Seraphine. That's a good strong combo that has been pretty known in the bottom lane for a bit. The Ashe slow can proc the Seraphine E, so you only need to throw one E to get the stun or the root.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at kind of the champion pool for Mobe, the 80 carry for Theory of Everything, top two champions are Yunara and Ashe. They ban the Yunara and they pick the Ashe away, so forced to go on to something else, and it looks like probably will end up being that Corki down into the bot lane to answer, as you mentioned, that really powerful 2v2 between Ashe and Seraphine. So nice drafts rounding out. I mean, I think on the other side too, Right Chains, you were mentioning kind of the vulnerability of first picking this Scion, but if you look at the champion pools of Anarchical Demon, he's got Renekton, Ornn, Garen, Zahen, so not a ton of stuff that's going to nothing like a Fiora or something like that that's going to really hard counter this Scion. It's a little bit of things on the carry side, but probably feeling safe to pick that one up, and obviously has a lot of strong team fight presence. So Nautilus being locked in there as well. Caxi has played that in the jungle, also in solo queue, so that could be a potential flex pick with the Nautilus. Keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's a good point too. The fact that both of these top laners like to play the tanks here. They seem fine to just pick their respective tanks, pick the bottom lanes here, and we will get some bans in the mid lane and the jungle out of the way here. Ornn is the lock in for Khan as They will be playing that one in the top lane to match. Most likely, Jack's going to be that first champion banned out.
Jack's
And yeah, I mean,
jungle?
I don't know. I guess
guess.
so. I mean, you said
Yeah.
Caxi plays the Nautilus, so you never know.
Yeah, you never know that. That would probably be less surprising, I guess, than the Nautilus. So, could definitely be it. Victor is the most played champion for Mavsack in the mid lane, so taking that one away makes sense. I assume that we could even see another mid lane ban here. Syndra is another one of the big champions for him, so lots of mid lane bans. Xerath, also for Odysseus, Xerath and Vigar are the top champions, so both of those have been taken away, and yeah, it will be the Syndra. So, lots of mid
Yeah,
lane limited.
a lot of mid laners being banned away here. Those control mages that can scale very hard, deal a lot of damage, have nice AoEs. So we'll see what Con opts to do here. They do have the last pick counter, so I assume they're going to pick their jungler here just to give counter pick to the mid lane. But we'll have to see if that's their draft plan as well.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are definitely shaping up to have, all right, Aurora coming through here. Some pretty good 5v5 kind of team fight compositions. I mean, obviously the Ashe, Seraphine, Ornn. I mean, really, anytime you're taking a tank top lane, you're probably going for a 5v5 kind of composition. So we'll see how they continue to round that out here. Definitely need, another heavy damage dealer for the side of Theory of Everything so far. Yeah.
And the Aurora pick is interesting because, I guess that just shows how much Con really prioritizes their jungler here. They want to give their jungler the counter pick. And Zahen locked in on the other side for Theory of Everything. This champion is crazy to me. Zahen.
Yeah, it is really annoying. His passive seems ridiculous a lot of the time, that he just gets a free better than a guardian angel, basically. Pretty crazy. All right.
And
Annie in response here.
Annie, the mid lane lock in here. All you have to just pick Annie. True. All you have to do is, just press R. You can scale up. Easy to pilot champion, easy to execute. So, Theory of Everything kind of looks like sticking to what they know.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, kind of leaving that last pick to jungle here, as we've got a little bit of a bug, it looks like, with the all right. We got
what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, talking about new champions, or relatively new champions in this game that are kind of ridiculous, I think Ambessa is there a little bit for me as well. She's got about 10 million dashes, just moving all over the place, and that ultimate able to engage from a very long range for being a melee champion. So, yeah, should be interesting to see. I mean, these team comps are both, like I said, I think they're both pretty team fight oriented. I would say, especially by the end, the Theory of Everything composition, definitely going to be looking for those big engages between the Nautilus as well as the Scion and Annie together, hopefully able to knock out multiple members of the enemy team early on in these team fights. But the long range engage from Khan is actually also really, really powerful between the Ashe and then also the Ornn. You can really easily set up an individual target for Ambessa to be able to hit the public execution, and then you're in business if they can get that onto the Annie or the Corki. I'm a little bit worried maybe about the damage from Theory of Everything here. I mean, Annie, not really known for like the sustained damage to the team fight. It's really that upfront burst that is going to be her bread and butter. So it's going to be a lot on Mobe to be able to carry the damage throughout these fights.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too. And when you look at the pick potential that Khan has with the Ashe arrow, with the Seraphine, and then the public execution, like you mentioned, and also you have Ornn for the long range engage as well. So I think
execution, but definitely I think some advantage overall in this draft going over to the side of Khan, if I had to pick one of the two.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just making sure. Yeah, I'm gonna Okay. had to make sure the lobby was all set up there, but we are into the client draft now. Going to get these picks going as you see, or as you have seen, on the on-screen draft here. And I think one thing to mention, we are in fearless draft, right?
Yep.
So none of these champions will be seen in game number 2. Another, kind of push that competitive league has turned to this year, and I think it's been really interesting because you get a lot of new champions being played, and I think that keeps the games fresh. And personally, I like it.
Personally, I don't like it. I will, even though I
Okay.
obviously endorse everything about this league and it's the best, I will say a couple of arguments that I have since we've got a moment. I would say the first one is that it ends up punishing people for being really, really good at a certain champion, which I think is kind of unfortunate because I think we do have bans in the game for a reason, which is to be able to get rid of things that are just truly overpowered in the game, but it can kind of punish people when they're just totally unstoppable on a group of picks. And I would also say that yes, we do see a huge diversity of picks with Fearless Draft, but it kind of takes some of the excitement out of it for me. When you would see somebody pulling out something truly out of left field in the past, it was like, whoa, this is a really big deal. Now it's just kind of part and parcel to, especially the longer series. I don't think that it has as much of an effect here in 3-game series as it does in 5, but it is also interesting. Against my argument, it is interesting, especially at this level of play, to test people's champion pools. We know at a lower level of play, obviously people have less time to practice the game. They're not pros, so they're not necessarily spending all day every day practicing champions, and so it can be interesting to see them kind of push to their limits in that regard, and it rewards players who have larger pools. So that's my soapbox about Fearless Draft that hopefully everyone wanted to hear.
I wanted to hear it. I want to hear all your opinions, but anyway, yeah, we are. Yes, we are getting through this client draft here. One thing I do want to mention before we throw it to break and go into this game is that we are continuing our CCS rival replay runs with you. We got some cool tech that will allow us to watch and download replays even after client patches. All we need you guys to do is to upload all of the .rofl files from your match into the hashtag Apollo replays text channel in the Discord. Make sure you include all game replays and team size per game. Main goal of this is to have your matches on CCS YouTube so we all have access and potential to watch all the matches week over week instead of just the streamed ones. And maybe they'll even be casted later down the road. So, think your game's a banger? Make sure you upload it to Apollo Replays in the Discord, and we might be able to get that going later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity if you want to get on stream. If you could either complain to Flay in the Discord, that would be my first case of choice of action personally. But if you have exhausted that option, definitely get those replays uploaded for sure.
Yep. Get those replays uploaded. We are through with the champion pick and ban. So we're going to throw it to a little bit of a break for competitive integrity delay. Don't go anywhere because we'll be on the Rift soon for game number 1 between Theory of Everything and Khan.
Oh no, they hurt us. Just kidding.
All right, everybody. Sorry about the little bit of technical difficulties there, but while we were gone, Killen and the Shadowkeeper able to find the kill onto Daigen in that bottom lane. So early lead in that bottom lane for Khan as we get some more trading back and forth in this mid lane. But you know, for the time being, we're glad to be here and looking forward to a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so before when we were on mute, not knowingly, it's probably GS going to be able to smite away that blue buff. But we were talking about how this double range bot lane should be able to have, sort of the overall advantage. Did not necessarily anticipate that that would be leading to a kill this very early on, but it looked like it could have been, kind of perhaps a bit of a fat finger situation there for Daigen early on. So this is going to be really oppressive, I would imagine, for Killen TY and the Shadowkeeper, because Ashe Seraphine is already considered pretty much one of the strongest premier bot lane duos, especially when it comes to the laning. They have that early kill. They were able to get it back off. Ashe picking up the boots as well as multiple daggers. And Corki, especially as a tier building champion, he was able to get the refillable potion in the tier, but he's not able to build combat stats early on if he wants to get that tier and have that mana that he needs later on. So it's just going to be about
survival so far, just about a 7 CS lead difference, but it could potentially continue to stack if we do not get jungle involvement coming in here soon.
Hello. Wait. Am I here?
Hello. I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I couldn't hear
right.
Ride Chains. I couldn't hear Ride Chains there.
I think my mic just went on. All right. It's a little scuffed, but we're getting
through it.
That one was on me. That one was on me.
Up. All right, we're warming up. It's game one. Just couldn't hear Ride Chains for a minute, and I wasn't sure if it was me or him. But yeah, and in the meantime, it looks like we had a kill coming through as in bot lane.
I was saying that just like you mentioned, you asked for bottom lane help and Caxi delivered.
Yeah, all right. Well, unfortunate that my perfect prediction did not come through the casting there, but you know what? It is what it is. And yeah, I mean, now so they did get the kill. They were able to pick up the kill on Seraphine there. But I mean, it does make it much more even here in the spot lane. Pretty huge for the Corki
Oof.
there, who is getting pretty poked out under the turret, just trying to get those last hits, and he will actually end up being up in CS with that kill, so should actually be a little bit up in gold at this point. However, woo,
Actually, back in this bottom lane, that Shadowkeeper has no flash. Gonna get pulled in, and this should be another kill as the or the hook
nice.
connects. And another one going over to Mobe, but now here we go. Public Execution is gonna find Caxi. If they have the damage, they do as they turn to Mobe and get 1 and 2. A double kill for Pride, and Killin finds the last one there. 3 for 0 in favor of Khan.
So they pick up the kill onto Corki, but at what cost? Well, we actually know exactly what cost it is, which is 3 kills, a huge first play into this game for Pride GS, who had hit level 6 on the Ambessa, able to go through public execution.
Horn getting sounded in this top lane. JP the boss flashing away really low as the Bellows breath is enough to take him down. Solo kill in a top lane for Anarchial Demon.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly can see this pretty often from Ornn, who does really well in 1v1s against other tanks, especially because of his W, providing him a lot of damage and able to take advantage of it there, pick up that kill. Both flashes are blown in this top lane too, so if it's somewhere that the junglers would like to visit, definitely could be a possibility here. But looking at the scoreboard, I mean, the biggest difference that you can see is in the jungle there, where, you know, Caxi has had multiple ganks that have been successful in the bot lane, but overall is a little bit behind in farming out his jungle camps, as well as just overall gold to Pride GS, who is kind of on a tear here as far as the pace.
Definitely, and Caxi looking in here. Pride, a level up on this Raptor camp. Both mid laners are in the areas. Tiber's going to get popped. Maz will get stunned for the time being, but no real anything else coming out of that play. Pride's able to secure their own Raptors, and now we got a lot of pings going in for this invade into this bottom side. Pride is ahead in XP and a 20 CS.
Yeah, pretty big lead. You can see also with that, you know, with the jungle item there, 6 or well, actually 4, I guess at least, stacks behind for Caxi, who does want to try to counter this, but Ambessa ultimate is up in a moment. She doesn't even need it, I don't think. I think it's coming back up in just a second. Hasn't needed to use it even with Daigen being there, but I don't even know what they can do because they've also got priority in mid lane for Khan.
Yeah, this is not good right now for Theory of Everything here. This Ambessa is getting so strong now and going to be able to take away that red buff, get the kill on Caxi in the jungle. And this Ambessa is going to be a problem here.
Yeah.
Fighting in its top lane.
Yeah,
they're just scrapping.
Yeah, it's not quite getting to the critical point where one of them's very close to dying, but I mean, Anarchical Demon is pretty low. Does have the teleport if he wants to come back up into this lane, though.
Yeah, and for the time being, we see that Caxi is going to start up all those grubs in this top side, and it looks like it might just be a trade here of the neutral objectives. Oh, nice hook lands on to the Shadowkeeper, and Ignite's gonna get burned, but no real threat there, as everyone is safe.
Yeah, everyone able to walk out for now. Corki getting a little bit low. That Ash Enchanted Crystal Arrow is available if they wanted to go for it.
Oh, here we go.
On the other side.
Depth charge flashing forward. Hook is gonna hit, but that's a huge encore coming through. Killin will find the last hit. That Shadowkeeper 1 HP running for the hill is gonna find the root, and Daigen has to sit and watch as the bottom lane for Theory of Everything gets double killed again.
It just didn't really seem like that was ever going to be that great of a play for the bot lane of Theory of Everything, because Corki was so far separated, need to use that Valkyrie forward in order to even get into the into range to do damage. And I think even if they had killed Seraphine, they probably would have ended up both dying to the Ashe on the back end of the play. Also notice that Corky did have a nice cleanse on the encore pretty quick, but the damage was already done. It didn't really, it was even just the damage hitting alone, was enough to make that a losing situation. You can see Ashe still had the barrier up. Seraphine still, I think, was holding heal at that moment as well. So Ashe is now 4-0-1, has the first item completed as well as tier 2 boots. So you're feeling very good if you're killing TY. Already pretty set up here. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the champion select. I mean, Khan's team condition or team comp has really clear win conditions about their ability to pick people off long range, and so far they are really on track to be able to execute that later in this game. They also picked up the first dragon here, as you mentioned, that trade, so they'll have that stacking on there as well.
And I'm just looking at the mini map here. Mavsack and Pride are deep in the enemy jungle here. It looks like they're going to be in a little bit of a fight as the hook's going to land. Let's see if they have the damage public execution on the target. I don't think they want to. Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects as well. And Caxi is stunned for an eternity. Going to fall as well here. Now, Moby, the last member standing in this bottom lane. Odysseus has come down, but what can you do? It's 4v2 in favor of Khan here. And this Corky is so dead. The dive is going to come through here. Who's going to get the kill is the question. Killing Will, and whoa! Odysseus finds the one shot onto Mavs, walking back through mid lane.
Yeah, at least they get something back on the other side. But, as you said, that just continues to accelerate the pace of the game here. I would imagine that they should be able to get a little bit more damage on this bot lane turret. It seems like it's only a matter of time until they break the map open here bot lane. They're going to go for the recall now. They probably got a lot of gold in their pocket after that play. But Pride GS has really been the one to set the tone ever since that first gank here. All over the map, actively invading into the enemy jungle, and you can see kind of even that lead with the jungle camps. Just one more camp left, and then that will be completed, whereas still a little bit of work left to do here if you're Caxi to be able to get that full 1400 damage smite. So just kind of underlining how much of a lead here there is in the jungle for Khan in this game.
Absolutely. Pride playing really well so far here. We saw that early dragon go down. It was the ocean. Second dragon of the game is the mountain. So that will be spawning in the near future here. Both of these junglers on the top side of the map right now. We did mention that Grubs trade came through. So outside neutrals going over to Theory of Everything. But, as we approach this 13.5-minute mark here, Khan with a commanding 3,000 gold lead. And that's a solid bit this early into the game.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's definitely Khan's game to lose at this point. Theory of Everything is going to have to find some ways to set up plays, I think, especially with their solo laners here. They need to find a way to get Sion out of this lane with his ultimate. Also, perhaps some kind of Annie Flash Tibbers play, although she used Flash to pick up that kill in the bottom lane, so won't have that available, at least for the time being. Going to have to wait for that one to come back up. And Mbessa has pretty much cleared out her entire jungle here. We'll see if she looks for a gank, because these top laners really don't quit. They're really trying to take it to each other.
They're scrapping here. Unstoppable Onslaught forces out the flash from an Archeal Demon, but other than that, nothing else here. And one thing to note in this top lane, we got about a 20 CS lead in favor of JP DeBoss, and he had that cull, which he just completed, so a little bit of extra gold coming in there, completing those boots. Another thing that, is worth mentioning nowadays in the Big 2-6 is that now we have role-specific quests. So you can see those upgraded boots for Annie in the mid lane as the upgraded Sorcerer shoes.
Yeah. Definitely important to get those quests completed. Aurora's still on the tier 1 boots there, so not going to be able to benefit from that quite yet. But yeah, I mean, as you said, Ornn has fallen a little bit behind in CS. If I was Khan and I got to pick one of my lanes to be behind, I would pick the Ornn every single time. He's still going to be able to do what he does, use his ultimate, etc., etc., etc. So
And
Shouldn't
let's not forget he did have a solo kill early in this lane. So
True. Credit where credit's due. For sure.
yeah,
He did his
we can't
job.
forget about that. We
Well,
can't
and
forget about that.
eventually, pretty soon here, he's also going to get the ornaments in and be able to spread those to the teammates. So he provides a little bit of extra gold value with his passive there without actually having to obtain any additional gold on the map. So all in all,
Oh, baby.
not really too far behind.
Play coming in around this Herald here as Cax is going to find the last hit. Depth charge is going to cause Mavs to run for the hills, but the Q from Annie is enough. Wait a minute. Look at Theory of Everything showing signs of life, picking up the Herald and 2 shutdowns.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, 1 shutdown.
Erased here. I mean, we will see the turret coming through on the other side to make it a little worse. But as we look into the replay here, this is what we asked for, which is these solo laners to get involved in these fights. Annie picking up the big stun right away onto the Aurora, so she can't really become involved. And then Pride GS, who has been so ahead in this game, also just taken down right away after that CC from the Unstoppable Onslaught. So, you know, we said both of these are 5v5 compositions. They want to fight as group. You know, we're not quite at that 5v5 stage quite yet, but Theory of Everything just ahead there as far as being able to get their top laner in particular where he needed to be. And if GAPDA boss can play like that later in the game, it's going to mean a lot. What I would be a little bit afraid about if I'm Khan is you were able to do it there in the 3v3, but once the bot lane becomes part of the equation as well, it's this Ashe who is really, really fed, also has the ability to engage from long range, so they have to make the most of what they can, and they did a great job there, but I'm not sure it's going to be the same once these bot lanes get involved. We saw them take down that bottom tier 1, and now they're swapped into the top lane to kind of try to do the same thing there. But we do see the swap in reply as well from Theory of Everything, trying to match the Khan bot lane, so that they're wise to that strategy.
And what was once a 3,000+ gold lead, now around 600. So that was a huge play for Theory of Everything there to get back into this game. And like you mentioned, side lane's going to be swapping here as we're going to get a fight coming through. Public Execution and the Ornhorn. But, oh, man, let's see. JP DeBoss going to get his ultimate stopped by the flash from Pride. And this is just delaying the inevitable here as JP will go down. Pride picking up their 5th kill of the game.
Yeah, just with that turret down, nowhere to go for the Sion. Did do a really nice job of canceling the second half of the Ornn ultimate with the Unstoppable, or actually rather with the Q, but with the Decimating Smash. But it still wasn't enough in the end. In a 2v1, never going to have enough damage as the Sion to be able to really fight back. As Odysseus, he was looking for the all-in potentially there. Doesn't have the Tibbers up again quite yet, so I don't know if he would have had enough damage. But quietly, this Annie is 3-0-0. So when she has flash up, what she does now, she would be able to blow up one member. Pretty much, ideally, I guess, if things are done right, you should be able to just blow up one member of your choosing. Possibly more if you can land a really good Tibbers.
Big play coming in. TPs are all the way through as Pride is looking for Odysseus. Enchanted Arrow is going to land on a Corki, but the flash comes through. Big fights here as health bars are low. JP DeBoss in the middle of 5 with that TP. Gonna get in the cycle a little bit here as I think the rest of Theory of Everything has to just leave their top laner to die. That was a big heal coming through, but it is not enough here as unlucky TP.
Yeah, I mean, your team is saying TP, 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 and if you don't, you know that they're gonna be really pissed, no matter what. So, just JP DeBoss taking one for the team. But this is, as we see the replay here, Corki able to get away, able to cleanse after the arrow, but then that's about it. There was no way that the team was going to be able to follow up when you've just got this whole death ball, especially with that Seraphine healing everybody up over and over again. And this is really what they need to be afraid of later in the game, because if they're not able to, if Theory of Everything is not able to burst out one of the targets early on in the fight, that's when they run into these issues where, it's kind of like, where do you start? Because they have a limited amount of damage that Annie is fed, but she needs to select a target.
Oh man! Mavs. Does it get one shot? Actually survives and is able to get out with the Between World tiers. Now JP DeBoss under the tower. The mid lane tier 1 will fall in favor of Theory of Everything as the Herald has been spawned. Dragon spawning in 5 seconds. It is a Chem Tech dragon. So we have the Chem plants blooming on the rift here as Mavsec in the base, 4v5 in favor of Theory of Everything right now. As we'll see, this dragon started up by them. Call of the Forge God coming in. Let's see who answers. Knockups onto 0. But here we go. Stun on to Pride. As Daigen in the front line is going to get taken down. Public Execution connects onto Mobe from downtown. And that's going to be another kill coming through. JP the Boss left in there on his own once again. And killing is legendary on the Ashe. 8-0-3. Theory of Everything gets the dragon, but loses 3 members in the process.
Yeah, they take the 3-0 in that fight. It started as a 4v5, but it didn't really end up mattering because of the excellent engage. You know, we talked about that Ambessa ultimate in this game, the public execution, and how important it would be for her to be able to pick someone off. And they are going to transition this straight over to the Baron, which I feel like in this season is much easier to take early on. However, Caxi does seem to know this is happening. He puts a control ward and he is over the other side. Could he potentially try to look for some kind of steal here, or will they look for a fight?
Numbers coming in. Odysseus is here. No flash on Killen. That's the key cooldown here. Odysseus doesn't have flash either, but the Baron is getting low, 4,000 HP. Caxi on the other side of the wall. Odysseus going in a little bit early. Timbers whiffs onto no one, and Odysseus will fall. JP the Boss now goes in as Mavsec is taken pretty low. Corky is just gonna die here. He's got nothing to do. No damage as JP the Boss, the last member left standing in this team fight. Killen is gonna find the head on the backside, and it is just a disaster once again. 4-0 in favor of Khan.
Yeah, the 4-0 definitely going to be disastrous. The Baron's still up on the map, but they're not going to actually go back onto it right now. They would rather just clear out this mid lane turret, which they have the opportunity to do now. And yeah, I mean, I assume that they're not going to go back over to the Baron other than that, but it was a great way for them to get this fight started because they were super successful in the fight. As you said, I think Odysseus just a little bit ahead of the rest of the team. It seemed like Caxi was waiting on the blast plant to try to go maybe for a steal. They definitely could have had a 50-50 there if they wanted it. Obviously, I guess they didn't end up giving up the Baron, but you know, maybe it would have been a better option to wait a little longer. But either way, if the anti-ult doesn't hit anyone at all, you're never going to be in a good spot if you're Theory of Everything.
Yeah, suboptimal when the anti-ult doesn't hit. That's not good for the team comp, but you know, here we go. We're going to get another Baron started up here. And this time Odysseus is on the bottom side. Has the TP available, though, and I think they might look for it here. As this Baron now started up. 12k HP. Theory of Everything knows this is going on, I believe.
Either way, it seems like. Or they could go for, again, a 50-50 here. Caxi knows what's happening.
Over the wall, let's see. Going in for the Smite Steal.
Did he get it?
Oh! The steal comes through for Caxi. And Theory of Everything steals away the Baron, and I think Odysseus should be able to pick up that bottom lane tower as well here, so an objective bounty comes through. That's a lot of gold coming back in for Theory of Everything.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely huge. I mean, they needed to have that if they were going to stay in this game, and it definitely, I mean, it went at 1370, I believe, when he was able to smite it, so really close. We'll see it again, or 1328 actually is the last thing that I saw on there. And, you know, Annie saying, do I need a TP up? And Caxi's like, nah, dog, just let me get this steal for the team. Obviously sacrificing his life, but he's 0-5, so how much?
We take those.
How much could he really be worth? Yeah, huge play to keep them in the game here. It doesn't necessarily solve their issues, but it definitely buys them some time, as well as, I mean, it was actually a really big deal. Oh.
And execution onto Mobe as Daigen is in the front lines. Pride just gonna get stunned up. That's a lot of damage from Odysseus as the shutdown goes over to Mobe. Now let's see what the rest of the team can do as Khan has to run for the hills. Not doing well in that team fight, and Pride just getting a little bit too excited.
Yeah, I mean, he basically went in 1v4, so that is not gonna work out. He's strong, but he's not that strong. And yeah, I mean, now we didn't really think that Theory of Everything would necessarily have the opportunity to siege with this Baron buff, but now with that kill coming down, they are able to use it, or they are able to use the buff to siege onto this mid lane inner turret. They'll take that one down. 2,000 gold lead for Khan, but I mean, as we pointed out early in the game, that's not even the biggest gold lead Khan has had so far in this game.
Here we go. Anarchial might be getting caught here as the Encore comes through. Ornhorn gonna find 3 as the Grim Deliverance comes in. Caxi trying to find the damage. Low health bars for Khan here as now Moby is trying to deal the damage to the front lines. Anarchial Demon will go down, but Pride is here and angry. Gonna find one traded back onto Caxi, looking for Moby now, and will find it as Daigen going back in. JP to boss again in the middle of the entire team, but left alone. Khan paints the rift with the blood of Theory of Everything, and they're going to find this third dragon and the 5-for-1.
I don't even know what happened there, because at the beginning it looked like it was a really good fight for Theory of Everything. We saw multiple big cooldowns being used by Khan, but not able to pick anything up. But then they're just able to turn that fight. This Ashe is still so strong. We don't really think of that Ashe as like a hyper carry champion, but at this point, when she's this far ahead, she's got even the upgraded item from Ornn. She's finished 3.5-ish items, over 60 CS up on the lane opponent. So just super powerful stuff coming from this bot lane of Khan. Huge in this game so far here. I mean, they're just really able to stay in these fights for such a long time with the Seraphine. I think that's part of what makes it really deceiving, is that all of a sudden you get the empowered W from Seraphine and they're back in
my goodness.
Odysseus.
Odysseus over the wall, dealing so much damage. The shutdowns come through, one to Caxi and one to Mobe, as that's a lot of gold coming in. That was a 10-0 Ashe.
Yeah,
1,000 gold for Caxi.
I would be pissed if I was Corki. I would have been like, dude, you totally could have given both of those over to the Corki. But I mean, I guess it's good for Zion to be relevant in the game as well. So I mean, either way, that gold is huge for their team again. And it does seem like, even though it seems like Khan has been overall the much better team in this game, they time and time again are letting Theory of Everything back in. And now Theory of Everything on their base finally here. Pride GS trying to match it in the bot lane, but never going to be able to destroy the turret before Sion can kill those minions. That's one thing that he's always decent at. And
they could collapse.
Cut Pride GS off here, because they're definitely going to try to. It is looking rough.
Pride is in a really bad spot here, as Public Execution is going to find Daigen. That's going to be a lot of room, but the stun comes through. Grim Deliverance brings Caxi into the play, and Pride should fall here. Another kill going on to Caxi.
Yeah, and that's kind of the second time that we've seen Pride GS, who still has had a really good game, but being too far ahead or separated from the rest of the team. We saw that in the mid lane when he tried to make a play earlier, now trying to, break the enemy base in the bot lane, and just not able to do it. It ends up getting punished. I mean, at this moment, there's no giant objective up on the map or anything, so it could be worse, but definitely is problematic for Khan if they're trying to set up any plays or anything like that. But really, we should have kind of a lull period here until at least this next dragon comes up, which would be the mountain. Is that right? Is it actually mountain? No, it would be.
No, it's Chemtech.
Maybe our indicator is wrong, but the icon is wrong. But yes, it would be the Chemtech Soul coming up here in a couple of minutes, so that should be the next big object. Well, actually, sorry, other than the Baron, which is up sooner than that, so we'll have objectives here soon enough.
Yes, and this gold lead has been just crazy back and forth here. Right when Khan, breaks it open to 5K, then Theory of Everything finds a play and gets it back down to, right now it's under 2K. So signs of life here for Khan, despite, being pretty far down here. And here we go. Everyone's clumped around this mid lane as the hook's going to connect onto that Shadowkeeper. Theory of Everything does not want to go forward, though, as they are down members right now. JP to boss in that bottom lane, pushing away. Should be able to take down that tower without a problem. As an Archeal Demon is heading over there, too, but... Oh, no! Look, Execution missed! Oh. Whoa! Yeah, Pride.
They would have.
Pride is smelling blood. Oh, here we go. TP's coming in here as they find two with the knockups. The Shadowkeeper's gonna go down and Trickle Arrow will find Caxi as look at the damage coming through. Another one falls as Pride trying to do it again in the backline. Mobe is taken low, but it's not enough. Look at Killing now, dealing so much damage on the Ashe. The hook lands. Do they have enough damage? Odysseus has to run for the hills. Is taken very, very low. Flashing over the wall, finds the stun, and Odysseus finds Killing. This could be the game here as 4 members down for Khan and Archeal Demon trying to find Moby on the backside and will, but what does the rest of Theory of Everything have? Can they end this game? Odysseus has the TP. There's still 18 seconds on Mav's sack. Do they have the time? I don't think they do, as the stall was proper from an Archeal Demon.
Yeah, and we'll get into the replay here. We saw what started this off was Pride GS missing that public execution, and then Scion coming all the way across the map, able to use his ultimate to get that big knock up there at the beginning. And then also you can notice how much this Scion is able to zone Ashe out of this fight. If it was not for PD to boss, JP, the boss, definitely might have turned out a little bit differently because Ashe is zoned out for a lot of that fight. But also on the other side, Anarchial Demon being able to pick up that kill on Corki at the end probably saved the game. I think with Corki alive, they probably could have ran it down and finished it off, but not able to do so. And they are able to, now again, they're able to deny the soul for now and continue the timer. I mean, I would be so annoyed if I was on Khan right now, because this seems like a game. I mean, we said it was their game to lose. We'll see if they fall into this trap.
This is dubious here. This looks so scary as Khan is hiding in this mid bush, and Tentacle's arrow connects onto Caxi. Let's see what the damage is. Public execution finds Daigen as Daigen is taken really low, is going to fall instantly here. Odysseus on the backside trying to find the damage, but can't really find anything yet. And this does not look good for Theory of Everything. Killing is doing the damage, kiting around. And I think this will do it here as JP the boss falls. Odysseus goes golden, but it's only going to delay the inevitable here. A triple kill for Killing, 5 for 1 in favor of Khan, and they're going to march down this mid lane and end the game.
Dare I say he's killing it in this one. He wasn't able to retain that scoreline without any deaths, but it seems like this could possibly be the game for Khan. They they were really sweating in this one when I don't think that they should have been. They especially Pride GS I think got a little bit trigger happy, but we'll see if they can try to defend here. Corki is up.
Moby doing a lot of damage with the public execution lands. Pride goes down, but Killing just dealing too much damage. Will fall eventually, but not before the Nexus goes down. Khan takes game 1.
Yeah, Khan, they looked really strong at the beginning. They looked strong at the end, and they do take the victory in that one. So nice job being able to finish it off at the end. But, if I was the coach, I'd be saying, tighten up, boys. There was a little bit messy there in the interim, but they were able to bring it back.
Yeah, that was an insane game. It felt like they were just playing catch with each other, right? One gets an advantage.
Like a solo queue game.
Yeah, then one throws it away and gives the other team the advantage. But nonetheless, Khan is going to take game number 1 here. We are going to throw it to a little bit of a break before we get into game number 2. But will Khan be able to take it into a fashion, or will Theory of Everything force a game 3? Don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the draft for game number 2 between Khan and Theory of Everything. They have switched sides now, so Khan will be on the blue side and Theory of Everything on the red side here. Game 1 was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely an entertaining game. We can only hope that the rest of the series, has the same amount of excitement in store. But as we come into the draft here, we'll get into the bans. So far, multiple champions banned away that we saw banned away in that first draft. And this is another one of the interesting wrinkles with Fearless Draft is because, theoretically the champion pools get thinner and thinner as you go throughout the series. So you're very much incentivized a lot of the time to keep the same bans here, unless you're kind of trying to do something different compositionally for yourself. If there's something that you were trying to block out with certain comp you're running, those champions that you banned in the first one should only sort of get stronger theoretically, in comparison to the rest of the pool as we go on. But so we'll see how that continues to pan out. Malphite ban away is interesting. That is Caxie's most played champion in the jungle, based on solo queue. So that one being banned away. But yeah, I mean, for Theory of Everything here, they've got the red side. We'll decide we'll see where they decide to put that counter pick. What lane they want to prioritize with that. Oftentimes we see that being the top lane, but if we get any kind of matchup like we did the last time, I do not anticipate, a counter pick, last pick tank here. So we'll just have to see what they want to do.
And I guess one thing that I just, thought of from that game 1 draft is Khan opted to save their last pick for Pride in the jungle, and we saw what Pride was able to do with counterpick on the Ambessa. So very, very, strong player, and it seems like Khan wants to play through their jungler.
Yeah, I mean, and that was pretty effective for them. I mean, Pride definitely had a couple of whoopsie moments, but overall, okay. Able to lead the team, and we got the Smolder was banned out last game. That one is going to be left open this time, and Smolder, it is first pick. We talked about how strong that can be with the revival of Deathfire Touch. Super, super strong, but you do need to look. I mean, is still very much a scaling champion, right? So they're going to have to find a composition that can play around Killen, which, I mean, we saw what it looked like when they were able to play around him on the Ash. He was looking super powerful. So excited to see what he can do with an even more sort of hyper carry champion, but hyper carries on both sides here, it looks like.
Yeah, Jinx is going to be the pick coming in for Mobe. And, I like both of these 80 carries. I would say these are two of my favorites. So I'm excited to see how this game goes here, in this bottom lane. I'll be keeping an eye on that. But, ooh, look at this. And a Mumu hover potentially coming in. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see if they lock that.
Okay.
All right, they're not gonna lock it in. Sejuani, that's not something that we see a lot recently. You definitely see champions in the jungle who usually have a little bit more agency than Sejuani, but it does make sense if you're setting up some kind of hyper carry composition. Sejuani is a really strong one there, able to isolate a single target really well. And we always know that Jinx is all about getting that first reset to start off the fight, which is something Sejuani is really good at, is setting you up to get that first kill of the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're playing an 80 carry like Jinx, all you want is your team to be able to, make some space and stand in front of you. So definitely like the Sejuani pick here. And on the other side, Khan is going to respond with the Wukong and the Braum. So a little bit of frontline for themselves here, and a little bit of dive coming in for who I assume is Pride.
Yeah, I mean Wukong top is horrible right now, so it's probably Wukong. It's probably going to be Wukong jungle. So, we talked about how late that jungle or how that jungle selection came last pick for Khan when they were on the red side. This time they would not be able to do that either way. And they just want to pick up one of those stronger jungle selections before we get to that second phase of bans. But yeah, I mean, they're really going all in on a hyper carry composition so far for Theory of Everything.
Yep, Lulu is going to be paired up with the Jinx in that bottom lane. An enchanter rather to buff up that Jinx here, and Last game we got top and bot lane picks in the first three. This game we got jungle and bot lane picks in the first three. So solo lane bands coming in here. First one taken off the board, Syndra, and then Rise countered back by Khan.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe at this point, maybe they will leave the last pick for top lane, because JP DeBoss, he does play some niche stuff. He plays the Garen, Yorick, also even a good amount of Warwick top games in there as well. So might be able to pull something out depending on the matchup. I mean, definitely if you see like a tank or something like that, from Anarchical Demon, you should be able to play that Garen. I mean, Garen would not be necessarily a typical part of a hyper carry comp, but whatever you can do to make it work.
All right, and the final two bands coming in on this second phase, Renekton and Gallia taken off the table there. Whoa. All right, those picks have not come through yet. As a Theory of Everything looking for their fourth pick after the second stage of the bands. It's going to be the Orianna in the mid lane for Odysseus.
Wow. This is a really like old style hyper carry composition. They're going to be in a really tough spot if Mobe is not able to survive. I mean, Mobe had a pretty decent. He was able to do a decent amount of damage in that first game. Unfortunately, they just had a really hard time keeping him alive throughout the team fights. But whenever Corki was able to be alive, those are the team fights where they were more successful. So it's going to be all about keeping Jinx alive. I mean, Orianna obviously scales a decent amount of damage for herself, but also just kind of adding to that ability to shield up the Jinx later in the game once they all get together.
Yep, and Orianna is going to be matched on the other side by Ari for Mavsack. So a little bit of mage action going on in this mid lane here. And Ari is another champ who, very strong in the meta right now. Can deal a lot of damage, has that pick potential as well here. And woo, okay. A little Mordekaiser pick coming in here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like not wanting to be too vulnerable to one of these, picks that we had mentioned that JP DeBoss has. We mentioned the Garen, but also Yorick is the second most played. Definitely looks like that could be what's coming through here. And I mean, Yorick will allow them to sort of split the map 4v1 and get really strong split push going, especially if he can get a lead versus Mordekaiser. What my fear would be, I think, if I was Theory of Everything, is there are a lot of tools on the side of Khan to be able to get into this back line and find some kind of flank. We've got the Wukong, but then the Ahri as well. Really, really good if you can control vision at coming out of nowhere or dashing over the wall with a charm. And if one of those lands, it could be a tough situation for the Jinx. But with all those tools to help keep her alive, maybe that is what it will take for Theory of Everything to push this to a 3-game series.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at these team comps, you have a lot of scaling potential from both sides. We've talked about the Theory of Everything, how they're playing the big hyper carry Jinx comp where, you want your frontliner standard, you want your mage who can shield her, you got an enchanter playing in as well. So, but then you pick the Yorick, and that leads me to believe that they're going to want to play this game in a 4-1. So I assume that, most of this game will just be 4v4, and the top laners will be on their own in the side lanes.
Yeah, I mean, this top lane, especially in comparison to that first game, this top lane matchup is going to be a lot more volatile. If one of these champions can get ahead of the other one, it definitely gets a lot more difficult, especially looking at that on the Yorick side. I mean, he can be really, really oppressive if he is able to get ahead. So looking for a lot more possible jungle intervention into the top lane, especially also, bot lane, they've got the Braum, but in comparison to the Nautilus, really not quite as great of a gank enabler. Of course, with his passive is always strong at picking up the stuns and things like that. But I do expect a little bit more action going into this top lane. But I mean, we saw from last game, with Pride GS, he really focused on just power clearing through the jungle to that level 6 and then using the ultimate to get the job done, which really translates well over with Wukong as well. I mean, Wukong just wants to pretty much farm and get that level 6, and then at that point he can start to be dominant in these team fights. So look, probably going to be a little bit quieter early in the jungle, at least on that side. I mean, Sejuani as well. We got 2 really level 6 oriented junglers here. So with the 2 hyper carries, those level 6 junglers could be a little quieter early game, but we'll look especially up into that top lane for our early action.
Yeah, and in game 1 we also saw some early action in the bottom lane. This game I'm not sure. I think we might get a little bit of a it shouldn't be much action in this bottom lane, at least in the 2v2. But like you mentioned, those junglers want to hit 6, and once they hit 6, they're coming bot lane. So it's gonna be a party down there. We are gonna throw it to a break soon, but first, I want to tell you guys about an opportunity that we have here on the stream. Do you want to piss your friends off live on stream? Are you interested in baiting the players or even a coach? Through pure CCS ingenuity, we've made that possible. For just 500,000, a mere 500,000 channel points, you can get your message shown live on screen mid-game, LCS style. Want to bait even more people? CCS subscribers get 1 free bait a month. 1 rage bait per game, first come, first serve. So you got to get in there quick, and there's no carryover per month. This is not your corporate PTO program, so you got to use it or lose it. If you're interested, you got to hit up Flay or Redacted or any CCS mod for questions and requests. So make sure you guys get those channel points stocked up, because there's a chance you could get on the stream. We are going to take a small break for the competitive integrity spectator delay, but we'll be on the Rift soon for game number 2 between Khan and Theory of Everything. Don't go anywhere. And we are on to the rift for game number 2 between Theory of Everything and Khan. Khan on the blue side this game. We got Anarchial Demon in the top lane on the Mordekaiser, Pride in the jungle on the Wukong, Mavsack on Ahri in the mid lane, and killing TY and the Shadowkeeper routing out the bottom lane with a Smolder and a Braum.
On the other side, we got JP DeBoss on the Yorick in the top lane, Caxi on the Sejuani in the jungle, Odysseus taking up the Orianna in the mid lane. We got Mobe on the Jinx and Daigen on Lulu here. And we finally got the minions coming through. We can see that, I mean, I imagine that both bottom lanes theoretically would want to, play it safe early on here, but you never know. You might see some support flashing forward inadvertently, which certainly could kick off some action when that does happen.
It's more fun that way.
Happens to the best of us, for sure.
Yep.
It is more fun that way. It's true. But yeah, I mean, as we expected, both junglers here, they are going to start on opposite sides. Both of them also have those wards on the Raptors, so they're going to know kind of where they are going, but I don't think it's really going to matter that much because they're not going to run into each other, and they're probably just going to clear as quickly as they can. Not as much, I will say, like, from the engage side, we have these junglers definitely have that primary engage. After that, I don't feel like there's quite as much follow-up from either side. So we'll see if we can really get those definitive team fights back and forth, which was enabled heavily by especially the top laners that they picked in game 1. We won't see that engage ability from the top laners here in game 2. So we got the nice dual view here as well. I mean, something else I didn't mention is like this Mordekaiser too, if he ever gets in range, he shouldn't ever later in the game get in range to press R on Jinx, but if he does, that is pretty freaking annoying for Theory of Everything. So they got to make sure that the protection for Jinx is going to be absolutely paramount.
Yeah, and one thing that we talked about this Mordekaiser here, interestingly enough, took the Ignite, opted away from the TP in this game, so only one TP for Khan's side here. One Summoner TP, rather. Early CS lead coming through for Anarchial Demon here as Caxi in this top side of the map. Pride's back on the bottom side here, and they're just going to trade crabs once again, like they did in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we expected. Neither lane on that side is really in position to be able to be ganked. So they are just going to end up taking the recalls here, it looks like, unless Sejuani can possibly look for something in this top side, but it's going to be a pretty thin angle to try to look for that.
Yeah, it's a thin angle here, but looks like might look for it.
If he could hit the cage, then they would have had it, but yeah. Yeah,
and JP has no mana, so just trying to clear this. I think just get this to crash. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, otherwise he could
there we go.
die
Now,
if he didn't have this
now
health.
Getting it to crash. Oh, here we go. Stun's coming in here, and this could be trouble here as the first blood comes over. JP DeVos goes down, Pride flashing forward to try and find it, but this is so much damage. Yorick stays alive, and Caxi finds the second kill. Disaster strikes for Khan.
Oh, that just
my
seems,
heavens.
I mean, we'll see the replay here. It just looks like another unforced error here from Khan Esports, similar to some of the ones we saw in the middle of game number 1, as Pride GS must be shouting out that he's coming up there to the top side. Anarchical Demon, instead of just letting that wave crash into the turret and picking it up, taking the W for wasting that Sejuani's time, instead decides to try to make a play happen. And sometimes when you try a little bit too hard in this game, it doesn't work out well. It's going to be the flash blown as well from the Wukong. Anarchical Demon does hang on to his flash at least. So if there's a regank, we'll be able to stay healthy there. But this is pretty big. We talked about if that Yorick can get ahead, how oppressive it can be. He's not that strong in the early levels, but once he picks up that Sheen, already picked that up, we'll be able to come back to lane with a lot more power, and it starts to get more and more annoying here for Anarchical Demon. Starts by picking up the Bramble Vest.
I mean, this 1v1 lane is gonna get really volatile in this top lane, and Although, look at the CS numbers here.
Yeah.
Big lead. A lot of that's going to be crashing in right now into JP to boss, but oh no. Missed the cannon too.
Oof.
But
Yeah.
a lot of that's going to be crashing in. JP is going to pick that up.
So, won't be near, quite as bad. I mean, it should be a really big lead for the Mordekaiser if they did not go for that play, but we cannot go back in time. We can only accept what has already happened here.
Level 6 has come through here. JP to boss, no mana. Into the Death Realm they go, and JP to boss is not looking good here. Ignite's ticking down. Bring the mace down. And an Archeal Demon's going to have a solo kill, but Caxi is in the area. And Archeal Demon does have flash and will use that to escape.
All right.
Caxi
so
not want to follow.
That he has the flash because he is able to get away. Even with the Glacial Prison being used, it was not quite enough damage, which is the thing about Sejuani. She's not a damage champion, so when she's by herself in that situation, it's going to be tough for her. But yeah, I mean, we're over here talking about how JP DeVos should have this big opportunity and potential advantage here, but Mordekaiser able to turn it right around, hitting level 6. His ultimate is just so powerful. As Caxi stopping the recall, I don't know if they're trying to set up a dive here potentially. It looks like they could be. No ultimate on the Mordekaiser.
Definitely no flash either. Here they go. Dive comes through. Caxi's going to take the aggro and flash out. Well executed dive there from Theory of Everything, and this is going to be a wave denied for an Archeal Demon, gonna die, and no teleport to get back to lane.
Yeah, that is a nice play. Definitely a good job from Caxi there to stick around. Easy dive to be able to pull that off, especially with Sejuani having the flash to drop that turret aggro. But even with doing that, even with Sejuani taking that play, you can see that she still has managed to maintain being pretty much even. Actually, a little bit of ahead in farm. Oops, Shadowkeeper.
My Shadowkeeper's really low, flashing out. Will use the ultimate, but Jinx, no mana? Maybe?
Does she seriously not have enough mana for it? I guess not.
Yeah. Oh, didn't level until just now. What? What?
Oh,
yeah, and I think no mana as well, so it didn't matter. But
he might have just sidestepped it anyways. So you never. But yeah, you never try, you never know, I guess. But yeah,
you miss 100%. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. So we would have liked to see him try it out, but distracted in the fight. Hard to level that up as you're battling potentially. But this bot lane, pretty quiet, especially in comparison to that first game. Pretty much even in CS for these AD carries, both just trying to work on those first items. We know that both of them want to get to at least, probably at least 3 items potentially before they're really strong. But
nice dive coming in. Caxi not messing around in this top lane. Finding an Archeal Demon once again is here. Oh, Jinx taking a lot of damage in that exchange, but yeah, doesn't get stunned somehow and trades back well onto Killen. So still, even in this bottom lane and pretty quiet.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I'm pretty much so far this game mostly impressed by Caxi, who's done a great job of keeping up the pace here. Really, we talked about how we thought that there would be more jungle intervention into the top lane. That definitely has come true so far here. But bot lane, Jinx is low, setting up a dive.
Oh man, TP's coming in here as the Lulu ult's gonna get used, rooted up under the tower as Killen will find 1 kill, but Daigen finds 1 to trade it back here as Pride now gonna get hit with the shockwave, taking tower damage as Mavs in the building as well. Gonna use the dashes, and it's just a 2 for 2 so far, but both bot laners fall for Theory of Everything, and the support and the jungler fall for Khan.
Yeah, we also saw the teleport being used there from Odysseus, so we'll not have that one, whereas Ahri able to just walk her way down and maintain access to that teleport. Maybe would have liked to see Odysseus wait a little bit longer and use that, see if you could get the shockwave onto Smolder as well, but just wanted to make sure that they could for sure trade back that kill onto the Wukong so they are able to take him down. Looking at the gold lead though, I mean, ToE 2,000 gold ahead.
1v1. 1v1 in the death realm. Nice sidestep on that first Q. But this is just a lot of damage coming in out of the death realm now here as the ghouls are dealing damage. Pride is here in the building, gonna go invisible. Should be able to find JP. Under the tower we go here. Is the son of a bitch is oh my gosh! Pride over aggressive and dies in this bottom lane as now Caxi, or in the top lane, sorry, Caxi down the bottom lane. Glacier Prism gonna be used, gonna find the knockup or the stun onto one. But Killing now going back in, trading back some damage. And Archeal Demon really low. Flash is coming back up soon though. So should be okay. As now Odysseus is here. Shockwave is going to find some damage, but not enough as Mom is called. Daigen quite low in this bottom side, but no casualties yet here. And I think everyone is just going to take their licks and go back home.
It always feels ridiculous how tanky Braum is, especially when he has the unbreakable shield, which you could see in the kind of the first part of that gank. But even in the second part, Braum just, you know, just very hard to take down. So nothing going on there. But the top lane, they continue to scrap to really, really low health. But, you know, despite the best efforts of an Archeal Demon, his jungler has kind of been showing up to his detriment. In this one is JP DeBoss now that 3-1 and 2 Jinx.
Dive coming in? Oh, Killing is still tanking. Goodness. Oh, they can't get it. Wow, that was nice traps. Nice traps from Mobe there to kind of stall the dive and not let them get in.
Definitely. I mean, it looked like Jinx was low enough that he definitely should have been gone, but nice work. I mean, by the end, you're just feeling glad that you don't have anybody going down if you're Con Esports. And yeah, I mean, I was just going to mention that in that top lane, York having that Trinity Force completed is going to be really huge for him. That's when he starts to get very annoying. We could already see in that last 1v1 how annoying those ghouls also start to get, just eaten away at you. If you are Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser's still trying to kind of figure out that first item that he wants to take here. Not sure if it's going to be the Rylai's perhaps first or something else based on the components that he's got. But Caxi going to be picking up these grubs here, which will be nice for the sieging ability of Theory of Everything, who's, again, they're trying to, you know, kind of looking at the stakes here. Theory of Everything, they're trying to stay alive in this series. They're trying to prevent themselves from going 0-2 in the first 2 weeks of the league, which would be a little bit demoralizing for sure, especially 2 0-2 losses. Might make you feel a little bit downtrodden here, but look at that, especially when that cage lands. JP DeVos starting to get a little bit difficult to deal with for an Archeal Demon.
Might be getting too excited here as the tower will fall. Cyclone's going to find the knockups here, and the shutdown goes over to Pride, but the first tower of the game goes over to JP.
Yep, he will take the tower. That overstay does cost him his life, but it should be a pretty big burst of gold into his pocket. And you can also see that he's, for JP DeBoss, really apparently likes building these culls. He built it last game on Scion. He's got one going on this game as well in York, which makes sense because he's a scaling champion. Eventually gets really, really impossible to deal with already in the 1v1. Seems like he's getting really difficult to deal with. So getting that first turret down is a huge first benchmark. Should be able to keep pushing the map and just, you know, buying more time and space for the 4-man squad of the rest of the team. It's a 1.4k gold lead, so it could be a lot worse for Khan. You know, like there's been a lot of plays in a row here that have been favored towards Theory of Everything, but they're, you know, by no means are they running away with this game yet outside of, well, you know, the 1v1 here on the top side.
Here we go. 1v1, and Archeal Demon's going to flash forward into the Death Realm. We go here as JP DeBoss doesn't have his friends in the Death Realm. Coming out here, isn't enough damage. The ghouls are trying, but JP DeBoss goes down, and Archeal Demon finds another 1v1 solo kill.
Yeah, that Rylai's being completed, that slow is super helpful to be able to continuously land those Qs. I think Mordekaiser, it looked like, landed every single one of his Qs, which is a huge amount of his damage. And, you know, despite, again, Pride GS donating kills over to the enemy top laner multiple times, he's still been competitive in this 1v1. He's got to be careful.
Oh, here we go. Glacial Prison lands on the kill in here. But look at Pride dashing into the backline. Cyclone spinning as another Cyclone's going to come through. Pride's going to get stunned up, dealing a lot of damage. 1 HP. Enough, no, but the shockwave comes through. Odysseus finds 2 kills, the double kill for the Orianas. Now Mavs flashing in, Spirit Rush. What can the Ori do to finish the play? Caxie's taken quite low here. 1 more auto, or 2 maybe, is going to be enough as a double kill comes through for Mavsack. Odysseus running for the hill is going to get hit by the Braum Q. A triple kill for Mavsack, and Khan wins the play huge, going 4 for 2.
Yeah, 4 for 2 in the end. Looks really good at the beginning here. If you are Theory of Everything, Odysseus is there first on the play, able to pick up a big shockwave as we get into the replay here. But Ari, all this time walking down the river. It's the difference between the TP and walking down. Early on, Jinx is able to get back there, the wild growth keeping her alive. But you can also notice here she runs out of mana, so not able to continue using as many of the of her AoE auto attacks as she was like, and then once Ari gets here, all the cooldowns have been used. There's nothing that they can really do. I mean, again, Sejuani just doesn't have enough damage to be threatening in this 2v2. Mavsack picking up those resets on Ari, and it's just an inevitability from there on. And so now Ari looking at a 3-0-0, has completed the mid lane quest, so has those upgraded boots along with the first item completed, and she is going to be a problem for Mobe to deal with on this Jinx. It's just going to get potentially very difficult to survive if they're not able to find more tools than just the Lulu to peel folks off of this Jinx, especially as the map opens up and they don't have towers behind their backs.
Definitely here. Rift Herald's going to be secured by Theory of Everything, who has both of these topside objectives so far. The Dragons have been split 1-1, and on the Rift, we are going to have Chemtech Soul again. So same Soul in game 1 and game 2. Gold lead is even as we approach 17.5 minutes into this game. Baron spawning soon. And, you know, in the Champ Select, we talked about how Theory of Everything wanted to get this Jinx online. You know, they built this Protect the Jinx comp with the Lulu, the Ori, and the Sejuani. But you know, Mobe has no kills right now, so not exactly where they want to be as we approach the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not. All the while, you know, we haven't really touched too much on Killin on this, on the Smolder here. Has just been hanging out, obviously participating in the fights here, 2, 1, and 3. But those stacks are going to continue to stack up.
172 right now.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, you know, Jinx, huge scaling champion as well, but Smolder in a different way just starts to get really, really oppressive the later we go into this game. So has not really been significantly impeded in that regard, has actually gotten up to a little bit of a CS lead here in this bottom lane. Jinx has actually not been able to pick up any of the credit for the kills that have happened down here yet. Kind of unfortunate and just that she hasn't had more gold funneled in, but she is going for that second item here. I assume it's probably a Phantom Dancer, Hex Optics into Phantom Dancer build coming through here, which is very typical Smolder. He gets to just build some other random items basically that are only work for Smolder for some reason. That's cool, I guess. But yeah.
One thing interesting I want to talk about for Smolder is that he opted for the Lucidity boots instead of the Omnivamp boots, which I think is the more common pickup right now. So going Lucidity, going for cooldown instead of Omnivamp. We'll see if that plays. Oh my gosh. JP taking a massive blast cone in to get that tower. Here's the cage going to find 2. Spirit Rush comes through as Mavs should have no problem taking down JP the boss, and does not. Here we go. Pride going over, steals the dragon away from Caxi. Gets his back as now Cyclone going to be spinning in the backside. Mom is called, but Pride is going to be stunned up. And there we go. First kill coming through onto Mobe. Can Khan find anything else here as the Super Mega Death Rocket just does a little bit of damage? As Khan does not want to give up. Killing is taken pretty low here, but Anarchial Demon is in the area. So it's a 4v4 for the time being, but everyone opting to back away 1 for 1, but the dragon goes over to Khan.
Yeah, and I think
Oh,
Ari not
wait.
having the ult there is really important as Caxi in the death realm.
I think Caxi is fine here. I think TP's coming in, gonna get stunned up, and Archeal Demon under the tower getting pulled back in. Oh, will go down eventually though as Mavsack finds the kill credit there. Now JP the boss teleported in, gonna get stunned up. Killing doing a little bit of damage, but JP the boss seems to be okay in the play so far.
Yeah, and we'll see a
But
replay.
yeah, check this
here.
replay.
Huge play, from Pride GS to be able to pick up that steal right away, and then also doing a ton of damage. Did pretty much all the damage that Jinx ended up taking in this fight, which unfortunately was not enough to finish her off. But as I said, I think that Mavsack, having utilized that Ari ultimate earlier on to take down JP DeBoss, to take down JP DeBoss, was impactful here just because Ari not able to have the gap closed to dash in and finish Jinx, which is kind of her number one threat, I would say, right now. So that left her alive in the fight. Anarchical Demon did claim a little bit more with that kill under the turret later on Sejuani. But all in all, Khan Esports has taken the lead at this point in the game, a 1.1, 1.2k gold lead about. Kills looking pretty even here, but we're 22 minutes in, so we got that Baron spawned up. That is an option that Khan used heavily in order to start fights in the first game. We'll see if they decide to do it again. I don't feel like they're in quite as dominant as a position as they were, although obviously they managed to throw that a little bit in the first one, but they are starting to control vision over this area for now, just trying to set up.
Yeah, you can tell that they're looking for it here as another 1v1 between these two top laners here. JP the boss looking to get the better of this one, but into the death realm we go, and Archeal Demon is gonna flash away but will fall. JP the boss gets his lick back and finds a solo kill.
Finds the 1v1 solo kill, now going to be able to probably take down this turret. I mean, York just absolutely melts these towers at this point, so we'll be able to take this outer turret. Both teams are, kind of positioning mid. Khan would really like to open up the map a little bit with this mid lane turret. And you can see Smolder, he has reached the point there where you see the execute marker on those red side champions.
Going in here as the teleport's coming in. Cyclone is huge as Mavsack diving into the backline. Caxi's taken pretty low here as now Odysseus is in the building. Shaku's gonna land onto one and find the kill onto Pride, but taking really low will get executed by the Smolder. Last tower shot is not enough as the barrier will keep killing alive. 4 for 1 in favor of Khan. They destroy the fight, but JP the boss in this bottom lane just pushing away.
Yeah, he does pick up the inner turret, so able to at least salvage some gold back from the team, but a 4 for 1 is pretty devastating, especially with the fact that Wukong lost most of his life diving under the turret there to begin with, and we can see the difference in these fights for Jinx in particular when Mavsack still has that ultimate available, because he was just able to pretty much delete the rest of Jinx's health bar just with the W and I think 1/2 of his Q. So it gets really, really hard for Jinx to find a safe place to be able to fire from on the map when Mavsack is able to get into the backline. And a beautiful start to the fight with Pride GS diving under that turret. Yeah, I mean, it does get difficult here once Smolder has that execute range with the stacks built up is going to be something to continuously watch in this game. And yeah, I mean, poor Lulu as well is really just a bot to hit E and R on Jinx, and after that dies. I mean, never gonna, I guess, do too much more than that, but it just seems like, again, they don't have as many tools as they maybe like to protect this Jinx. Setting up a death
Look
rush.
at this, setting up a bush camp here as Caxi is gonna get found out and taking a lot of damage here. Mom is called. She does not answer though. Rare occurrence. And both of these teams now just posturing around this Baron and this mid lane. Mavsack's in the bottom lane, does have that teleport available. Dragon has spawned, so that could be a potential soul point for Khan as they are turning their sights to it. But look at this, Theory of Everything sees that and they say, all right, you go to Dragon, we're going to go to the Baron.
Yeah, they're going to go straight over there. They've got a tank and they've got Jinx, so that's all they would need to take this down. Everybody's actually there. It seems like, yeah, we'll see if the response is quick enough. It's already at under 10K.
9K.
IGS trying to make his way over. He will be fast enough.
They're off of it. I like the try though.
Dragon. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, oh, but wait a minute. Now Theory of Everything is just going to restart. Let's see what they can
I
do
don't know
over
that
the
they
wall
wanna
here.
do this.
I don't know about this either. As JP DeVos now is in trouble. Cyclone's going to be here. As the Glacial Prism's going to find Anarchial Demon. Pride GS flashing forward onto JP, but I don't think you have enough damage here unless Mavs can help, which he does. Finds the first kill there as Daigen has to run for the hills. Will be able to get out though, as for now it's just a 1-for-0. JP DeVos going down, but no neutral objectives are going to be taken.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse, definitely, for Theory of Everything there. But Odysseus and Jinx and Mobe were all the way on the other side of the fight, so we're pretty much totally safe. Just trying to rain down what they could on that Shadowkeeper, who was able to also stay alive. But both of these objectives coming up means that they have to be really, really active on the map. Coming back out here, you can see Pride GS starting up this dragon right away again, and that one should fall, it looks like, to the side of Khan, who will put themselves on Soul Point there.
Saw this last game too.
Yeah. Yep.
Khan's Chemtech Soul Point.
Baron's still on the map though, so they're going to walk in that direction to try to control the vision. Again, they've been really big on trying to start fights, using the Baron to start fights. Whether or not they actually intend to finish the Baron or not is a whole nother thing. But right now they're really dominating the vision over on this side, going to force Theory of Everything to come to them.
Caxi into the Death Realm here as 4 members of Khan are here. Glacial Prison is going to be used, but I think Caxi is just going to go down. Under this tower we go. Dive in, and Killen's going to find the execute with that Elder Dragon.
Okay, theoretically they would want to go to the Baron, but obviously you can see the push happening both in the bottom and the top lane. Yorick especially going to be on that turret. I mean, they are going to do the Baron, I guess, but they're definitely going to get their base cracked open, I would imagine.
It's not that fast.
Is here. Yeah, Anarchical Demon is coming back, but kind of trying to decide which lane to defend. He can't really decide where he wants to go. Just a couple more hits for JP DeBoss would finish it off. He does pick up
Still
the
4K
aggro, though. Oh!
Okay, Death Realm is going to be used to delay the inevitable. I think the damage is enough. Anarchial goes down. Another solo kill for JP. And they're going to get both of these inhibitor towers here. The Baron is secured by Khan. Let's see what they can do. Mavsack going in. Shockwave's going to whiff, but the charm connects onto Daigen. Mavsack is taken really low, but will not go down. Daigen falls, and it's a it's an overall 1-for-1 here as Pride looking for more. Jinx has to run for the hills, but now Caxi is in the building. Bodyguard is here. We'll see. Theory of Everything has to run, though, as Pride still running, gonna get stunned up. Blast Cone's used to get Odysseus out to safety. Caxi is gonna get stunned though, as a Glacial Fissure used. A lot of CC being used here as the Smolder not dealing damage just a tick enough. No, it is not. And look at the bottom side. JP DeBoss relentless on this bottom side. Gonna be able to get this inhibitor.
Yeah, JP DeBoss really just trying to be as annoying as possible for Theory of Everything and keeping them in this game by just manipulating the map and forcing Khan to come back to deal with him.
Go, go, go! Theory of Everything has to force this. They got 4v3. Oh, TP's coming in 5v3.
Well.
Spirit Rush is going to be used here. I don't know if they can catch him, though. They have nothing.
Yeah.
Mavsack getting... Yeah, wow. Ooh. Oh, Shockwave killing walked in! Has to flash away, but now look at the Cyclone spinning in the backside. Shutdown comes through as Killen falls. Pride will find one on the backside, but falls as well. 2-for-1. This time in favor of Theory of Everything. And a jungler and the AD carry for Khan are down. It's only Mavsack to deal the damage here. Death Realm is available, though.
Yeah, we'll see what Mavsack is going to do here if he tries to look for some kind of flank, but it doesn't look like it. Just running up the middle. They're just going to try to clear these minions. They do have the Baron buff left for a little bit.
Oh my god, JP. Oh! Glacial Prison! But Mavsack has to flash out to safety into the Death Realm as an Anarchial Demon found Mobe. Wait a minute, look at the backside. JP DeBoss went a little bit too far and is going to go down, but Mobe lives and is excited. Mavsack goes godlike, finding JP after the shenanigans happened, I guess, but Theory of Everything just has to run away here.
And the gold is even 30 minutes into the game. Super,
So much
super
action.
close game here. Yeah, there is a lot of action going on both sides. And I mean, again, it just kind of really came down to the way that TOE was able to manufacture a numbers advantage with JP DeBoss pulling multiple members to stop him into that bot lane, and then also having the teleport available for the Yorick to join the team. Really, really meant the world. Ultimately, I think Killen mispositioned himself when he got hit by that shockwave, which eventually led to the fight being successful for TOE, being able to push into the base. I don't actually think that they took anything else in the base after that, but yeah, just really, really close game here. 30 seconds on a potential Chemtech rather, Soul for Khan. So we would expect that there's going to be a fight over that most likely when it comes up. But whew, I mean, we've got the Infinity Edge done now from Jinx, so this is when she's really, really now online, very powerful. I mean, Anarchal Demon was not able to kill her in the Death Realm the last time, but even being able to take her out of the fight, if that happens again, could be a really, really big deal. That's a pretty difficult thing to set up, but something to watch out for. You've got all eyes
Here
on
we
the
go.
Jinx stuff.
Here we go, and the dragon spawning in. Khan is the first into the river here. We'll see what everything can do. This dragon is going down really fast. It's at 3k. I don't know. Here we go. The fight coming in now. Stygian gets caught. Jinx in the death realm. Mobe is doing a lot of damage and surviving pretty well, but I think an Archeal Demon is going to be able to find him this time. And will Cyclone flashing into the back lines. Pride finds the knockups onto everyone. And this is disaster for Theory of Everything. Khan running through the enemy team, finding 3 kills. And I think this will be the game here. They're going to push down mid.
They're definitely going to look for the mid lane. They should have super minions that should be able to meet them into the base pretty soon, but it is just 20 more seconds on Jinx before she comes up. I don't know that I mean, Pride GS is just over here clearing the wolves while the rest of the team is looking for the end. So either we got a little bit of communication mix up or just trying to inflate that CS score. 7 seconds left on the Jinx.
Here we go as the Nexus towers are under siege here, and Archeal Demon is collecting and tanking. Now Mobe is back, and Archeal Demon is taking really low. It's gonna go down here. This is gonna be time to get excited as Jinx is dealing so much damage here. Look at this, JP to boss. Chasing him down here as Thy Shadowkeeper is now taken pretty low. Look at this TP from Odysseus here. Another kill comes through for Mobe. Mavsack is taken low as well. Does the zap hit? No. Look at Odysseus on the flank. Shockwave connects onto one, killing the last member standing, running for the hills. Oh wait.
Oh, trying to
Prize
kite
in the
back.
backside. Trying to kite back,
Yeah,
but
how
just
has he not
can't.
died?
Goes down. Look at this. TP's into the base. Theory of Everything is gonna win this game. JP the boss
Oh my
TPing
God.
in. The Nexus towers are down. It's only Pride, and his back is getting canceled. We're going. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 3, the decider between Theory of Everything and Con Esports. It's been a banger of a series so far, back and forth, and it all comes down to this game. Theory of Everything on the blue side and Con deciding to go red side this time. That's what they were in game 1, where they were able to find that win with a last pick for the jungler. Pride getting the Ambessa there.
Yeah, so we'll see if they try to recreate that formula here, or if we see something a little bit different. Game 2, we saw those hyper carries on both sides. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel like the hyper carries are actually what made the difference, though, in the end. It ended up being that Yorick, but that's kind of a difficult thing to reproduce, I think, in many ways from Theory of Everything, just because Yorick is, by himself, like a very particular pick. His split push ability, there are obviously other split push champions in the game, but he is absolute top tier at what he does, and then we will not obviously be able to see that again with the fearless draft here. So looks like pretty much the same bans, though, as we kind of expected coming through, still wanting to limit those same kind of champions out of the game. Unfortunately, not going to see the Malphite jungle from Caxi. Would have liked to see some Malphite jungle action, but not coming through in this one. And so Theory of Everything, what do they decide to prioritize here? Looks like it could be the Varus, which is definitely a pretty strong champion, especially with the itemization pass that he has around Static Shiv. Are really, really at least fun to play. Also pretty annoying to play against. So that could very well be the first lock-in here, with a lot of those other power picks in the bot lane. Oh, never mind.
Oh, no.
Taken away. They will go bot lane, but different direction.
Yeah, gonna opt in for the Sivir instead. A lot of, another pretty big scaling ADC who can deal a lot of damage in the late game with the bouncing blades. Has a bit of that utility with the on the hunt as well. So more of a utility in team fight AD carry, but this Yunara banned away in game number 1, gonna be left open in game number 3. So Killen's gonna be able to pick that one up.
And Syndra. That one was
Oh, and Syndra, wow.
Of the first draft, but so they'll pick that one up early, so there's no opportunity to ban that one away. Again, as the pools thin out here, you might feel a little bit more comfortable taking these blind picks, and we'll see if alongside a possible jungler here, Odysseus does want to make his selection now, because otherwise there's a really good chance that they're just going to ban out Syndra counters, and Galio. That's going to be the option here for Odysseus. Definitely has a good amount of experience with it in solo queue. Not going to be looking to really care about the lane matchup against the Syndra here, but just does a nice job. Obviously loves building that magic resistance, has that natural magic magic shield built in. So going to be happy into that AP assassin lane. And it's a classic pairing with the Jarvan.
Ooh.
He sets him up with the Cataclysm and then knock him down. Oh yeah, but the Shyvana, we mentioned that that is by far the most played for Pride GS and solo queue, kind of his bread and butter on that new iteration of Shyvana. So able to pull it out here in this third game, and I'm excited to see what he can do. There will not be any last pick jungle, obviously, but getting what he wanted, with that power pick for him at least.
And we've seen 3 different strategies in the draft in each of these 3 different games. This time prioritizing the mid and the jungle in the early phases, champions that were banned out in games 1 and 2. So this is interesting here, and it seems like Khan is going back to a lot of comfort with these picks. You got the Yunara, you got the Syndra, and you mentioned Pride on the Shyvana. So just sticking with comfort, sticking with what they know and what they feel comfortable with in game 3, which is, pretty much exactly what you want to do in game 3. Top laner is going to be banned out. Garen, Mundo, Pantheon, and possibly Renekton.
Yeah, Renekton is most played there from Anarchical Demon in solo queue, so it might make sense to take that one away. Really thinning the pool out here overall in the top lane. So yeah, excited to see kind of what comes through. It seems like a situation in which you would leave R5 here for the top lane counter pick. I assume since this is going to be the support pick here, which you don't know your matchup, but probably going to feel more comfortable blind picking a support than you would a top laner. And Milio is definitely
Ooh.
comfort. Again, you talked about comfort, definitely coming through with that for thy Shadow Keeper locked in there. We'll see what they do on the other side for Daikin.
Yeah, and Milio is gonna be able to, enable that Yunara to deal more damage, have a little bit of further range, a little bit of burn as well. So, I think that's a nice, solid pairing. And like you mentioned, that Shadow Keeper is comfortable on this champion. So, it's gonna be an interesting one to see here as Nami gets locked in. Sivir Nami for the bottom lane of Theory of Everything. Last picks are these top laners. Like you said before here,
Right.
I think it's just going to be
Who's up?
tanks.
I mean, it certainly could be. I mean, I'm looking at what else here. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not really anything for Anarchical Demon that's one of his top solo queue picks
There
left
we
here.
go.
So it's just whatever they feel like can be successful into this Cho'Gath matchup. I mean, going down like just the list of the top played, the next one would be Warwick, but that seems like more of kind of a solo queue niche pick. Not necessarily expecting that one to come out in this draft, but Set being hovered could be a Set game here. It looks like.
Yeah, it could be Set, and this Set is a pretty strong champion, especially in the 1v1 here. Is going to lock that in. So, red 5 on the Set counter pick in this top lane. I'm a fan of Cho'Gath, but yeah, Set's a pretty tough matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Set theoretically should have a little bit of an advantage in the 1v1, at least, especially until Cho'Gath is able to get a few more stacks and get super, super tanky with all that HP. But overall, I mean, it's two strong 80 carry champions here. I'm always a little bit wary of Sivir, just because of her range being really low. Overall, this is a really short range composition
Yeah.
from Theory of Everything. They've got, I mean, I guess they have two range champions, but Nami doesn't really count as a range champion because she's not doing any damage for your team. So it's really just Sivir with range, and at that, it's going to be really short range. So it's going to be about the setups between Caxi and Odysseus. Are they able to buy space for this Sivir and also create those big engages that they want to see between that Jarvan and Galio combination? That is what they need if they're going to be successful in this game. And then on the other side, for Con Esports, they have a little bit more, I don't know, maybe flexibility with their team composition. Definitely trying to look for picks with this Syndra. And the Set flanking in as well is going to be really big. So I going to be looking for them to kind of set things up more with that kind of pick game, control in division, and trying to move from there. Whereas it's going to be the big engages from Theory of Everything.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Set with the showstopper, that damage comes from the health of, whoever he's tossing back into the team. So that Cho'Gath is a prime target to throw back into Theory of Everything. So, it's really going to be important to see the positioning of those squishy champions, the Sivir and the Nami, because they can easily just get one shot when Set goes in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like how much use or how much value Sivir can get out of the spell shield in this game, because I mean, definitely the long range Syndra stun is something that she would like to spell shield. If his Set is ever coming directly onto her from the flank, it could be helpful, but doesn't necessarily have any of those kind of like automatic spells that you're always going to use the spell shield on every single time. And I think Shyvana is a bit of a question mark for me. This is my first time seeing Shyvana in more of like the new Shyvana in like a competitive play setting. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how Pride GS moves around the map and executes this pick. I assume it's another one that's going to be pretty oriented around getting that level 6 and being able to transform into the dragon. So could be, or kind of quiet early on because of that. Caxi, I mean, on Jarvan definitely will have the freedom to try to get involved in these lanes early on if he wants to. If there's anywhere that kind of screams fighting early in the game, it's going to be this top lane, like it was in the last one, because Set is definitely going to be looking for fights early in this lane, whereas we've got the 2 enchanter supports in the bottom lane who are more focused on getting their AD carries out to safely rather than starting off fights.
Yep, absolutely. I think, like you mentioned, this top lane is going to be the point of contention. Obviously, with the for theory of everything here, it's going to be really crucial to see how Caxi and Odysseus play together, right? Because that combo is essentially the bread and butter of this team. So if they're synced up, if they're able to make play as well, if they're able to move around the map together and kind of impart their will on the game, that's gonna be the money for them.
Yeah, absolutely will be. And this is really, obviously, this is for all the marbles here in game number 3. TOE winning would mean both teams go to 1-1. Con Esports, though, still have the opportunity to go 2-0, taking themselves, tying at least at the top of the bracket. So we'll see which team can get it across the finish line in this one.
Yep, we are going to take that short spectator delay for competitive integrity, and I don't have a promo to read, so we're gonna just jump to the break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys on the Rift for the deciding game 3 between Theory of Everything and Con Esports. Don't go anywhere. And we are on to the rift for game number 3 between Theory of Everything and Khan Esports. Theory of Everything on the blue side here. We got JP the Boss on the Cho'Gath in the top lane, Caxi on Jarvan in the jungle, Odysseus on a Galliot in the mid lane, and what's his name? Moxie?
Mobe.
Mobe. I keep forgetting because he doesn't have the name on it. Streamer mode is on. Get it off. I don't want to see that. And die again.
Not say their name if they're on streamer mode. As
yeah, it's Sivir.
Teach them a lesson. Yeah. All right, and then on the red side, we got Khan Esports back on the red side for the second time. They got a Narcle Demon on the set. They got Pride GS on Shyvana, Mavsack on the Syndra in the mid lane, and then Killin TY and Thy Shadowkeeper respectively on the Yunara and Milio in the bot lane. And those top laners from before the time that the minions were even there, scrapping it up, and you can see the early game strength of this set, who is able to fully zone JP the Boss off the wave so far here.
And another ignite taken here by Anarchial Demon. So another thing to keep in mind here. Took that in game 2. Was able to pick up a couple solo kills with it, but ultimately the team lost the game. So either way, oh, look at this damage coming through here. Wait a minute, they're trading back and forth. Ignite's ticking. I think it's enough. And the Haymaker does the job. Anarchial Demon finding a solo kill again this time in game 3.
Yeah, top lane, we knew it was going to be active, but this is really early on. JP DeBoss forced to use his teleport to get back into the lane. All he's able to pick up is that refillable potion. So this could get pretty difficult here in this early game for the Cho'Gath if he's not able to get some jungle intervention from Caxi to help him out. Caxi is jungling towards this direction. No wards laid down so far for Anarcho Demon. So we'll see if after the Scuttle Crab falls, if he's able to, take advantage of that there. But both junglers are going to be here in the top lane. We'll see if they end up meeting at the Scuttle Crab. It looks like Pride GS does have a little bit of an advantage in getting there first.
Oh, looking for the gank here as the face breaker hits again. Flash is going to be used by JP, and I think that probably is enough here. Is trading a lot of damage back. Wait a minute, check this out. Pride is taking really low as now Caxi's joining, but look at this bottom lane fight here. Heals are going to be burned by both respectives as the bubble's going to land. Look at this set moving forward. As fighting again in the bot lane, the re-engage coming in both lanes. Everyone's re-engaging here as Anarchial Demon has to flash away from the flag and drag. Yunara's taking pretty low as well. What are we doing? I get flashing forward. Finds the kill from downtown. Oh my heavens.
Yeah, wow, we got a lot of action early on in both of these side lanes, but Sivir ultimately able to pick that up with the boomerang blade or whatever it's called over the wall there. Yeah, it is the boomerang blade, by the way. I was correct. But yeah, I mean, and then those ganks also up into the top side, super close to netting another kill, but just not quite there as Mavsack really taking a lot of damage. Does have the teleport though to get back into lane, so should be able to back away and be just fine there. But we saw this from JP Boss earlier in this lane. He is not, he's unrelenting. Even when he died early on in the other one as well, was really willing to continue fighting, coming back here.
Oh, I thought he took tower aggro. I thought JP had tower aggro there.
I did too.
It's
yeah,
close.
They're really living on the edge in this top lane. Both players really willing to put it on the line. Remember, neither one has flash.
Now he has tower aggro.
What?
One auto, and Anarchial Demon finds a solo kill again.
Unlucky if you're from the Cho'Gath's perspective, at least. There had gone up in CS a little bit, is able to go back and pick up the Giant's belt, but yeah, really, I mean, it's an unforced error, really, because Cho'Gath does not need to be contesting those minions under the turret or doing whatever he was trying to do, trying to pick up that kill. So definitely feels a little bit bad. And Archeal Demon will now have that ignite as well. And Yeah.
Oh, are they gonna dive him? Pride is in that top side. I think just gonna take away some camps here. Wait, look at Caxi in the bot side though. Flag and Drag's gonna find the knockups onto that Shadow Keeper. Do they have the damage though? I don't think so.
Yeah,
and the bottom lane for Khan just walking it out.
Range. Yeah, pretty short range here. So Sivir able to land a little bit, but she's not close enough to get any auto attacks off there after the knockup. So it will be punished, though. You can see that. I'm not sure if Caxi was able to get any counter jungling done on the other side, but you can see that I don't think so. I think Shyvana is going to go pretty far up here in farm. The dragon will be traded back, so that is nice. But we could see a gank into top. Now JP pretty far up.
He has no flash here. This wave is so bad. As here we go, Dragon's Descent coming in. JP could be in trouble, gonna burn that silence, but yeah, he is dead again. Ignite for good measure, and 3-0 on this set for Anarchial Demon. Oh, look at this mid play. Flash is being burned, Caxi and Mavs burning that summoner spell there. Dragon going over also to Theory of Everything. Wanted to mention that as the counter jungle was being done by Pride.
Yeah, really big lead here so far now from Anarchial Demon with that 3-0-0 scoreline in the top lane. Caxi really trying to get active around this map. We've seen the ganks into all 3 lanes at this point, but still hasn't actually managed to net any kills. But, I don't know. Gonna keep trying, I guess. Still level 5 from the Jarvan. Level 6 already for quite a while now from the Shyvana. We saw her using that ultimate in the top side, maybe about a minute ago. Jarvan finally now just ticking over to that level 6. And something that we had touched on during the Champ Select was the importance of this Jarvan Galio combo, which is now officially online with both of them being level 6. So we'll see where they can push that around the map. Odysseus has done a pretty nice job of having the wave push here so far mid lane. So if he's able to continue with that, he can go into the fog of war, which makes things a lot more difficult for the bot lane of Khan. And
here we go.
Right here, they're trying to set this up.
Yep, ult is available here all the way around here as the Cataclysm comes in. Grand Skyfall, or no, Heroic Entrance, and Sivir is going to find kill in there as that Shadow Keeper is going to burn both of the summoners to run for the hills. But Sivir's going to pick up the second kill there for themselves. And, Sivir getting strong, that's exactly, what Theory of Everything wants here.
Yeah, definitely. Sivir getting strong is going to be really huge, and you can see that they were able to execute when they used both of those cooldowns of the Jarvan Galio combo, which is what they need to do. They need to pretty much use that on repeat in top or bot lane as much as they possibly can. That's just the bread and butter of the team composition from Theory of Everything. It's about a 200 gold lead still for Khan early on. Not going to be super, super meaningful. But I mean, I think for me, still kind of the question mark here is going to be this Shyvana, who has managed to go pretty far up in farm. You can see about 6 stacks ahead so far on the jungle item right now. And what is she going to be able to do in these team fights? How much of a difference will she be able to make? Because there's not much of her kit that the Sivir will be able to spell shield as far as the majority of the damage. So looking at that as a huge difference maker in this game, as Caxi has done a good job, but really dedicated a lot of his time towards helping out those lanes rather than farming, which is classic Jarvan. For the most part, but you can see, I'm sure he's got some gold right now, but super far behind in items.
Caxi stole one of those away here as we're going to get a 3 fleet around those grubs. Tidal is going to find big knockups here as JP is on the way. Going to find Rupture onto 1 here as Caxi's thinking so low, flashing forward Pride, and Caxi will trade. But now Anarchial Demon in the 1v3, taunted up and taken down. Shut down. Going over to JP the boss. And wait a minute, look at this. Now Sivir under the tower getting dove here. That Shadow Keeper is going to find the last hit. But all of these grubs are going over to Theory of Everything. Let's check out this replay.
Yeah, you could see Pride GS using that ultimate, but the taunt from Galio hitting right before he ulted in is pretty big in stopping that follow-up. And then they have a numbers advantage from the side of TOE with Daigon already coming up to this top side. Now it ends up costing them here right afterwards on the bottom because Sivir was 1v2 under the turret. So there is a cost to, Daigon being up on that side of the map. And you know, but it does get them the victory in that team fight, and they're able to clear out, I believe, the rest of the grubs there as well, for the side of EOE. And now we
Well,
kind
I
of
don't know why Moby walked up.
Yeah, he should have just been
Like,
so far back.
You know that you're not gonna have any resources or help from your team, and you're already like 150 health. Like, just sack the wave, and you know your team's getting the big win on the other side of the map.
You would think so.
Ooh.
I mean, I guess the only consolation is that the kill does go over to the Milio, so would have liked that to be into the Yunara's pocket, but instead the Shadowkeeper picking that one up makes it a little bit less bad for the Sivir to have gone down. But I mean, honestly, again, now that in the top lane, now that JP the boss has been able to pick up a little bit more health, feeling a little more comfortable in the lane. Second dragon, though, started up.
4v4 on this dragon, 3,000 HP here. As Caxi is 2 levels down onto Pride. Taito is going to find a big knockup. Cataclysm going in. Heroa's entrance is going to find the knockups onto 1, but Caxi is down. Big taunt, as they might have found kill in here, but they don't have the damage to follow it up. Pride dealing so much on the front side of the fight, and it's a 1-for-1, but look at this! Flashing forward, Showstopper. Does JP the boss have it? No! Another solo kill for Anarchial Demon. The dragon goes down to Khan, and the Hex Gates activate on the Rift.
Yeah, we got the Hex Soul coming up potentially in this game, but lots of chaotic fighting on both sides of the map. Big fight over the dragon there, ends up going over to Khan, and you can start to see, you pointed out, right, Chains, the lead that the Shyvana has manifesting in this game as we do head over into a pause. Not sure exactly what's going on here, but we'll be able to have a moment to jump into the replay during that. You can see what happened on the top side. I mean, that's pretty much just a stat check, it feels like, from
it's one auto
being up so much gold in this top lane. But overall, I mean, overall across the map, that's going to be really big for Khan Esports here. I assume that we're still in a pause. It doesn't show the pause screen over it, but
I think they still have that bug. I think they still have the bug where once you pause, it takes like 10 seconds after they unpause or whatever, and then we'll be back in the game. But yeah, you know, so sad for JP, right? Because you're like one auto away from getting the feast, from being in feast range, and just not able to do it. You know, not able to get there. So quite sad, but nonetheless, still another solo kill going over, and Archeal Demon's a menace.
Yeah, definitely is. Now 4-1-0, has his first item completed. I mean, item completions on both sides, but the Heartsteel not going to be doing too much for you this early on in the game until he gets a little bit more stacks on it for Cho'Gath. Yeah, I mean, looking at around the map here, have we had any Rift Heralds taken in this game? I feel like there has been like no Rift Heralds, or rather, in this series.
They took Rift Herald in game 1 at least. I don't know, but I don't remember game 2, but
we'll see
definitely in game 1.
Here, not too long. But
just brutal from an Archeal Demon in this top lane. Only up 800 gold. Feels like way more though.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, look at this lead in the jungle too. It's still just one level, I guess, at this point. But it is like a 40 CS advantage for the Shyvana, who's continuing to invade. Maybe going to get punished.
Could get punished here. The taunt connects. Dragon's Descent comes down here as where are the reinforcements? JP the boss gonna get slammed down here as Caxi dives in. This is not good. 3v2 in favor of Khan here. And double kill for Pride on the Shyvana. Just making the top side of the map way worse. Going from bad to worse. Is now fighting in this bottom lane. Killen's doing so much damage. Bubble lands onto the Shadowkeeper. And look at the damage coming through from the Sivir now, doing a lot. Breath of Life is gonna get rid of the CCs for the time being. But man, another kill for Khan across the map here, and they're just dominating.
Yeah, Caxi dove in there under his own turret to try to prevent an Archeal Demon from taking the turret, but realized that he was not even able to do so. So just has to back off, which feels pretty bad. Really a lot of power here coming through on this top side, and especially as an Archeal Demon is able to get into the team fight. Set just has so many tools to be useful to his team. Oh, why?
Wow, here we go. As Sororo's entrance coming in here, Killen's gonna burn the barrier. Isn't enough? Is enough, but Odysseus will find the damage at the backside here. One more Q should come through. A double kill for Odysseus. Nice bubble lands as Unleash Fate is dealing damage, but Odysseus is tanky. Has that MR. So now the teleport comes in from JP to Boss to join the party. Say, hey, I'm here too. Looking for Pride. Rupture is gonna land, but I don't know what kind of follow through they have here.
Yeah. Nice knockback. Looks like for now they should be all right.
Oh my.
Taxi wants to continue this. There's not actually any objective on the map that they can transition it to.
Oh no. Oh, dies maybe? No, W.
No.
Oh my gosh, and lives. Disgusting. Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is going to be all right. I mean, you could just see he just absolutely melted the Sivir there. So much damage from this set at this point in the game. Super powerful. Both of the top side, really, the jungler and top laner from Khan, not to be trifled with at this point in the game if you are Theory of Everything. And 35 seconds until this next dragon is gonna spawn up. You gotta think that the advantage would be towards Khan Esports. They do have about a 5,000 gold advantage 16 minutes into the game, but we gotta be careful, Ride Chains, because we know we've seen him throw these gold leads before. Not necessarily as stable as you might imagine it to be. So they have pushed in the mid lane, should be able to transition over to this dragon when it comes up in a minute. Caxi already sort of anticipating that and is going to trade the Rift Herald on the other side of the map. But that Rift Herald can be difficult to use when you're constantly pushed into your turrets and you far behind. It can be a lot harder to find a good place to drop it where you actually get the value that you want to see from it.
Definitely. To use that Rift Herald effectively, you need a little bit of space, or at least you need to win a fight or something like that, and you can push it down a wave. But right now, in terms of the fighting, not much is going in Theory of Everything's favor. So we'll see if they're able to get that figured out here. But the Herald's going to be taking over. JP going to find an Archeal Demon here, but there's the numbers advantage here for Theory of Everything. 4v1, and Archeal Demon is in trouble here. The Rupture is going to land again. Who do they give the kill over to? Hopefully the Sivir. Ooh, okay, JP the Boss takes it. And that's a 600 gold shutdown. But wait a minute. Look at Shadowkeeper now. In trouble. No flash. Taito is going to find the connection. Flag and drag knockup as well here. And JP the Boss is racking him up.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And you just gotta, it's the second that we talk about how Khan is super far ahead. I mean, they still have a 4K gold lead, but these are, again, just these kind of unforced errors. I'm not sure exactly why an Archeal Demon was in that spot to begin with. By the time you're in a 4v1, you've probably done something wrong to be in that position to begin with. And then after that, they're even able to transition it into another kill. So just trying to continue to take what they can for TOE, take what the enemy team gives you, which is exactly what you need to do when you are this far behind. They're not, it's not like they're, so far behind that there's no way for them to come back, but you really are, they're not in a position to be able to initiate the fights themselves. So just trying to be patient, take what the enemy team gives them.
Pride gonna steal away that red buff from Caxi. As we got a little 4-1 going on here across the map. JP the Boss in the top lane. Mavs is going to be the one to respond to that Cho'Gath's push on the side. Actually, he's making his way up, though. They could definitely dive this. Feast is available.
Yeah, Cinder definitely has to be careful.
Oh, yeah.
She does have her flash to try to get out of the Cataclysm. She's
gonna
have to use it. Yeah. He'll take that trade.
I don't know. I feel like they maybe could have waited till the wave pushed in and a little bit of patience.
You can also Cataclysm right away, and then she has to flash, and then you can just flag and drag to follow up. But they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They just went for the flag and drag into Cataclysm, and that's what they did. So
Oh
it still
man.
is a positive trade, but yeah, possibly could have gotten more out of that. As this, as Daigen losing a lot of HP. Killen has been very, very strong in these fights too. Does have 2 items completed with the Blade of the Rune King and the Runons done.
Yep.
But Sivir's wave clear also makes it pretty hard for them to get to this turret.
Yeah, Sivir, one of these AD carries who's really known for her wave clear, and known for kind of being hard to siege into. And aside from the Yunara, not much. I guess you have the Cinder as well, but oh, here we go. Dragon's Ascent coming in here as Pride flashing forward. Do they have the damage? Hero's Entrance going to come through to save Sivir. And man, that was close.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they
Not over yet.
blow a good amount of cooldowns. But I don't know how much follow-up Khan will be able to have off of this. I mean, yes, they blow the Hero's Entrance there. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of about it. And here in the top lane, JP DeBoss getting more and more difficult for an Archeal Demon to do anything in the 1v1. He's still really strong as far as the team fights. We've seen what he was able to do when he got his hands on Sivir, just totally deleting her off the map in about 2 seconds. But as far as the Cho'Gath, he's starting to get tanky enough that he doesn't have to worry about the set, as when he's just sitting there clearing the minions. Not too much of an issue.
Yeah, but you have to think. Oh, wait a minute, Mavs. Oh, nice flag and drag flash combo. No flash on the Cinder here, but they don't have the damage. The rest of the reinforcements come in for Khan, and Milio is huge, burning that heal to keep Mavs alive, and the rest of the damage killing. It's just a daunting presence right now.
Yeah. Really is. I mean, you can just see again. I mean, you can see how the short range of the Sivir is difficult with Jarvan, because if you stand kind of at the back of that ultimate, even though Mavsack didn't have any flash, they just weren't able to find the follow-up damage. So when you don't have the Galio to layer on top of the Jarvan, it just makes it that much harder. And they are going to drop the Rift Herald here. Should be able to charge onto this mid lane tower, but it's not going to have enough damage to actually destroy the tower.
Oh man,
started off, and Archeal
Demon is bot.
Bottom lane.
They have Feast. Oh no, they don't have Feast. Wait, they don't have Feast?
He has TP. There is TP for an Archeal Demon.
Here we go. Oh, Odysseus gonna find the stun onto 2. Here comes the TP. Pride in the front lines here. Killen is not even bothering with the play, just hitting the mid tower as now Dragon's Descent coming in. Hero's Entrance gonna find the knockups on to 1 here as Pride separated from the rest of the team. It looks like everyone's gonna just be able to get out of here without an issue, but the Grom taken away by Pride, and Khan is gonna turn their sights onto the Baron.
Yeah. Khan gonna go over to the Baron now. JP DeBoss wanted to maybe look at a recall, but he doesn't have his teleport, and they do now realize that that's what's happening. So they are going to come back into this pit. We should see another fight off of this before the Baron goes down.
Flash forward stun on to 4 here, but look at the showstopper is huge. Cataclysm's gonna find a lot on the backside, but does the Sivir have the damage? No, he does not. 5-0 in favor of Theory of Everything. The Baron is theirs, and the Rift is theirs too.
Odysseus with a huge taunt coming in at the beginning of that, but that is where the good things ended, as we'll see this again for the side of Theory of Everything, as the carries, I mean, Anarchial Demon and Killen are just together able to absolutely annihilate the health bars of the enemy team. They're going to take down the Baron. They're going to take down this mid lane inner turret. They should be able to transition it over to a dragon as well, and this is what really, really opens up the game now for Khan Esports. They've got an over 10k, about an 11k gold advantage, and surely this is what they needed to be able to close out this series. If this isn't it, at least as far as the advantage that they're able to pick up, I don't know what is, because that team fight was ugly from the side of TOE.
Yeah, and Odysseus with a big flash taunt play, but an Archeal Demon just was 1v4ing in the backside. Just doing so much damage and killing everyone too. 1v4. Yeah.
I mean, it was just complete complete destruction, basically. And it feels like Khan has played a bit of a tighter game in this one overall, not taking quite as many risks as we've maybe seen them make earlier in this series, learning from their mistakes and understanding that it's do or die time right now. So the Baron buff is on here from Khan. They'll try to set up push in multiple lanes. Although JP DeVos doing a pretty nice job of clearing out some of those minions in the top lane. But we'll see, it's going to take probably another dive under the turret here if they want to make something happen before another objective spawns on the map to force ToE to move out of their base.
Yeah, and oof.
Ouch.
Sweet Spot Haymaker did so much damage to Cho'Gath. Took like 2/3 of his health.
They're just going to
That's a lot of HP.
Go. They got to fall back to the base at this point. Their only hope is to possibly try to find some kind of Jarvan Galio combo under the turret, but even then going to be really difficult for Sivir to stay safe enough to do a lot of damage. It's really all on Sivir as far as the DPS of this team comes. So
Here we go
now.
Flag and Drag is going to connect, but look at the showstopper into the backline. Sivir, good spell shield though, as the bubble lands onto Anarchial Demon. This is going to be the fight here as Pride goes unstoppable. Anarchial Demon's going to fall though, but what does Sivir have in the backside? Dealing a lot of damage, but a double kill comes through for Pride, as now Pride is triple kill, flashing back in. Pride was in the middle of the enemy team, but just collapsed back to meet up with Killen and Mavs. 3 for 3 though, all around in that fight. Not the worst thing ever for Khan, who's trying to defend.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the best possible outcome you could have, I think, here. If you're ToE in this fight, they pick up the triple kill onto the Sivir. You can see her flashing away at the end to get the last kill there that she was able to take. But even then, with the results of the fight, Khan's still able to take down that top lane inhibitor, as well as inhibitor turret, as well as the inhibitor. So you can see how far ahead, again, it's kind of execute or goes to illustrate that in this game. Even when it's a 3 for 3, they're the ones who are able to continue taking objectives off the backside. They continue to slightly expand their lead, about 11,500 at this point. It's going to take a lot more fights like that, it feels like, if you're ToE though, to be able to come back in this game. They're just so far behind at this point that, I guess stalling to any extent is a win for them. But they're going to need to stall a lot longer if they want to be back in this one.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Sivir opted for the Mortal Reminder instead of being able to go straight into the IE. So the Sivir's not doing that much damage, really missing out on that IE right now. And I think, obviously working towards it now.
She does have the
about 400 gold away. Yeah, 400 gold away from the IE, but still, I mean, imagine the difference that an IE makes in these fights. So hopefully,
still like 3 minutes away from Flash for Sivir, which could be really huge in this fight. She blew that.
Oh
at the
man,
end of the fight.
Here we go. Scout of the week hits 3. Teleport coming in from Odysseus. I don't think ToE wants to fight this. I think they just want to chill. They really want to wait until Sivir can get that IE.
Yeah. It's a tough spot here for ToE.
They're so antsy.
Yeah, I mean, because Khan also is happy to wait another 30 seconds here and pick up this Hextech Soul.
Yeah.
So they're going to be content to control all the vision over on this red side of the jungle for ToE, and now back off, I would assume, into the Dragon Pit momentarily here to pick this one up, or force ToE to come out of their base and potentially get killed. And of course, that Hextech Soul is in many ways, considered the strongest soul, just as far as that AoE slow, really annoying. But they don't want it to
Taxi going in. Mavsack is caught, but diving into the backline goes Pride, trying to find the Sivir. Do not have the damage as the feast comes through. Here we go as a showstopper now, taking Anarchial into the enemy team, flashing forward. Haymaker is going to find the double kill into the backlines. The Ignite takes down onto Odysseus. A triple kill for Anarchial Demon. 3 for 1 in favor of Khan, and they're going to be looking to end this game. It's only Caxi and JP the boss left up. The Nexus towers are under siege. One falls. Does JP DeBoss and Caxi have what it takes? The second one goes down as well here. I don't know if they do. The flag and drag hits 3, but Caxi is down. JP is down. The Nexus falls, and Khan takes it in 3 games.
Han Esports did what looked like it would be inevitable based on the first game, which is to take this series. It got a little dicey there, down the line, but of all the games in this game 3, they were definitely most dominant. They had, they had that lead in the top lane from the very beginning. Were continuing to execute it on that throughout the rest of the game. And yeah, I mean, for Con Esports, I just say you forget everything but the score line at the end. They come up as the winner of the series, and they get the job done.
They do get the job done here. Khan takes it in 2-1 fashion. We're going to take a small break, but we will be back soon with one of the players from the winning team. So don't go anywhere because we will be right back. Ooh, and we are back with the top laner from the winning Con Esports squad, and Archeol. Congratulations on the win. How you feeling about that series?
I'm feeling good. I think it was a hectic series, but I had a lot of fun. I know like I played against the top laner like once before, and like we've had some banter, and in between games we'd mess at each other and fuck around. So it was a fun time. So yeah.
Awesome. Great to hear. Well, and congratulations on the victory. Going into thinking about kind of some of the you mentioned when you came into the chat here before we went on stream, this was a very chaotic series. Especially in that first game, you kind of had fights going back and forth on both sides. I'm just curious, like as a team, how the communication gets. When things are looking good and then they're getting bad. If things get chaotic in the communication, and how do things sound when it's going back and forth like that?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be obviously chaotic when it's a chaotic time. But a lot of the things that we're of course working on over time is like, kind of like solidifying what those comms are supposed to be, making sure there's no like miscommunications. Unfortunately, there was one in game two, which resulted in what we saw. But we're kind of like ironing those out and making sure that like we focus. A lot of the team fights, even if they go bad, we'll get together, we'll be like, okay, that kind of sucked, but what's the focus? What can we do to like come back, like get ahead, etc. afterwards? So yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you mentioned the miscommunications in game number two. Curious if you can tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, I know that like Yorick was kind of running all around the map in that game. Was it about what was going on over the whole map, or just miscommunications in the team fights, or what was going on?
It's the mainly the final team fight. So when there was the team fight like around drag, and it was like I made the call that we could maybe end, so maybe not, and it was just a split call that stalled out the time and who could be there to help try to push the end, which unfortunately allowed time for Jinx to respawn and then get the resets to turn the end of the game. So it happens.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at it and make sure that it doesn't happen again. It's the start of the series. Well, not the series. It's the start of the season. We're gonna make sure to improve and become even better than we already are.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit more about your competitive experience as a player. Have you played, substantially in other leagues? Also curious if you played, how much experience you have with this group of players or any particular teammates on this team.
Yeah. So I am very new to competitive esports as a whole. I did like this year I did like collegiate for like my college when I was still there, but it was like a pretty like low like division in NECC, kind of like messed around. And then I did a lot of like for fun like little like draft like leagues for a friend that like streams. So I have like the only like real like hardcore competitive experience in like a comp setting would probably be I was in AEL like last semester because I was in college.
Sure.
So last in the spring for con, and that was very fun. The only person on the team right now that I've had experience with is Killen. I played with him 2 years ago in like one of the draft leagues, and then like I see him around and play games with him occasionally. Everyone else is completely new, but I'm having a blast. It's fun learning new people and playing.
It's awesome, man. I mean, y'all are definitely looking good, especially at the highest points. So we appreciate your being able to showcase your play on stream. Obviously, you've got this life-changing platform here right now at this moment. So, just curious if there's anybody you wanted to shout out, any messages that you have that do not break the Twitch TOS. Welcome to share.
Oh, probably just like shout out Khan. Like simple enough. Like allowing me to be a part of the team and be a part of the space. I think it's like really fun. Shout out Nick, my coach, who breathes down my neck to play rank games constantly and play tanks, even though I hate playing tanks. And shout out Burden for telling me to have 5 minutes of no breathing for fucking up earlier. So I think it's I'm just here shout out friends and family. I'm here for a fun time. I love learning comp and doing it. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you joining us for the interview, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Right. And that is the winning top laner for Khan, who takes the series in 2-0 fashion. That's going to be it for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. And we'll see you guys next week for week number 3 of CCS Apollo. Have a good week.